What a car.
Yes.
Huh?
All right. With the Tampa Bay Bridge in background.
American, too. Like it.
That's right. So
American pride.
when you have a problem and you want the police to show up, any ride that they arrive in is pretty cool, but those are also especially cool. If you're speeding, that's not the one you probably want to
Very cool that all these law enforcement agencies get on board with this, and they really put their best car forward, take a scenic picture. It's about bragging rights, isn't it? I
think so.
Yeah.
And well deserved, by the way. So that was pretty fun. You never know what you're going to get on First Edition, by the way. We cover a lot of news for you here on your mornings.
All the cop cars, the best looking cop cars.
That's
right here on First Edition.
All right, we've got more coming up right after the break.
It used to be common. Our newscasters had common sense. They gave it to you straight, just the facts, and real news. John Bachman is like them. He tells it like it is. Catch him every weekday on Newsmax 2.
Hi folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
Your next breakdown is gonna cost you. The only question is, how much?
Seat sensor, $1,400.
Thermostat, $2,600.
Transfer case, $6,000.
This driver pays for car repairs themselves, and this driver doesn't. They've got Endurance.
I have saved over $4,300. I will never pay for covered car repairs again.
Less than 1 year after signing up, Endurance saved me over $7,000.
It was like almost a $6,000 job. Endurance covered it.
If your car's out of warranty, a busted radiator could cost you $1,100. A transmission, that's another $5,000. If your engine goes, $8,000 to get it fixed. With Endurance, your car's most expensive repairs are covered, parts and labor included.
In my first year with Endurance, they covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
I've saved thousands and thousands of dollars.
Plus, Endurance lets you pick the mechanic you trust to do the work, or take advantage of their VIP repair network.
We tell them what needs to be fixed, and they just say it's covered.
And the best part? Your rate stays the same no matter how many claims you file.
I expected my rate to change, and it never did.
And coverage costs less than you think.
Endurance was so inexpensive, I just had to get it.
Totally beat every other competitor.
Whether you put 10,000 or 100,000 miles a year on your car, if it's under 20 years old, Endurance has you covered. Plus, your plan includes 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country.
So, who's going to pay for your next car repair? You or Endurance?
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan, plus a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. But you have to act now. Visit EnduranceWarranty.com or call 1-866-971-1180 for a free quote. That's 1-866-971-1180.
All right, looking ahead to later this morning, President Trump will be appearing at the dignified transfer. This is going to be at Dover Air Force Base for those U.S. military troops who had been killed in the war with Iran.
Yeah, this is something that President Trump made clear that he wanted to be part of. He does want to honor their respect that they served here for the U.S. military. These are very somber events, yes. And I imagine this one here today is going to be much the same.
Absolutely. So that's going to be around 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's not the only thing on President Trump's agenda for today. He's going to travel to Marietta, Georgia. He's actually stopping by Wheeler High School to deliver remarks. We're learning that that will likely be about the Trump accounts,
right,
which are new. And obviously, high school students wouldn't necessarily qualify for those accounts that are now given to newborns, infants. But when you turn 18 and you have a Trump account, that's when you can use those funds in your next career path.
Speaking of money, also Secretary of War Hegseth and General Raisin Kane looking for that additional.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for Santa Rosa and the wine country. Seen on KUKR 27 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Well, good morning to you and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Another nice day in the neighborhood. I'm Perry, and there in our Southern Command, Mr. Steve Johnson joins me this morning.
Yes, happy hump day, Perry.
Happy hump day, and on your second or third cup of coffee this morning.
I put it somewhere, but I don't know where it is, and Logan's not helping me find it, so I'm at a loss.
You didn't sit on it, did you?
Oh, no, I think I know that.
Okay. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. A lot going on in the news. Boy, there's a ton out there. Weather-wise, we got a little bit of interesting weather out our door here this morning. We have some beautiful clouds. Sunrise, the air at the moment, it's nice. We'll have a fire update for you. All that can change, but today's supposed to be a hot one, so keep that into consideration. Of course, hot's normal for you down there, but we're going to have hot.
Yeah, yesterday I think we had it a little cooler than you did, but we've got humidity. We don't have the monsoons yet. You know how we talk about that in the Southwest?
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a little bit cooler, so.
Good.
Kind of nice.
All right, good morning to you. Anything special today?
Yeah, well, it's Mango Day.
Mango Day.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Jimmy Buffett song, I ate the last mango in Paris. That's how it goes. Yeah. It's the only song with the word mango in it, I think. It's, let's see, what else can I tell you? It's a national, certain kind of fudge, and I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm going to try it, because we try things that we don't know what we're talking about. Penuche fudge. Penuche. Am I saying it right? Does that sound right? Have you ever heard of that before?
You know, Steve, you're the linguist. I'm going to go with it.
I don't know. Penuche. Well, I'm making it up as I say it. Right. So it's a fudge day. And it's National Hammock Day. So I guess that means it's summer. So it's a time to hang out.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co.
Okay, hold on, guys. And you ever fall out of a hammock?
You know, well, yeah, trying to get in it. You fall out of it. That's true.
You got to be careful getting in and out.
It can be dangerous.
They are. They can be quite the challenge.
And then when a Labrador tries to jump up on your lap and you're in a hammock, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. So we had fudge and hammock.
And mangoes. Yeah, you know what? Mangoes, not smoothie. I got to tell you that Starbucks has some of these summer things that have like fruit type things like this. I guess mango would be a fruit. It's not a vegetable. And you know what? They're actually quite refreshing. So that might be a good thing to try.
You ever just
something sparkling?
You ever just eat a mango?
I did. I was in Hawaii once, and I'd love to go back again. And we had mangoes and stuff like that we had for breakfast.
Yeah.
I know that sounds strange, but you know what? You're on vacation, you eat weird things. And a mango tasted very good. I like them.
There's a place over they put a mango on your pancakes.
Now, I've never tried that. That would be interesting. Was it good?
Well, yeah, they put it on there, and you put your syrup or whatever you want over the top.
Well, I know they do that, but was it good?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
It's in Hawaii. You eat anything in Hawaii, even if it crawls.
Well, yeah, that's true. You do.
Yeah. All right. Excuse me. Good morning to you. 3.5 minutes past there. Let's check out the weather because it's going to be a warm one here in our backyard.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, Vancouver and Portland turn sunny with patchy smoke and highs near 100. Wilsonville climbs to 103, while McMinnville also pushes close to 100. Through the Willamette Valley, it's a very warm day. Salem and Albany top out around 100. Corvallis reaches 98 under mostly sunny skies, and Eugene comes in near 99. Central Oregon has patchy smoke, then a few afternoon rumbles possible. Prineville reaches 98, then tops out near 93, and Sun River clunts to 91 with showers possible before storms develop. Boise stays warm and dry near 96. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay starts with areas of fog, then carries a slight storm chance with a high near 75. Port Orford begins foggy before turning mostly sunny near 71. Brookings stays foggy and cool near 57, while Crescent City is partly sunny near 67. In southern Oregon, Grants Pass reaches 101 with mostly sunny skies and a small storm possibility later. Medford climbs to 103. Ashland reaches 98 with sunshine before a few showers may pop up. And Klamath Falls hits 93 with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Across Northern California, Wairika reaches 98 with sunshine and an isolated storm possible later. Redding and Chico hover around 100 while Fort Bragg stays mostly sunny near 64. Around the Bay Area, Santa Rosa turns sunny near 80. Napa reaches 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and 76. And San Jose is sunny near 87. Across Central California, Sacramento and Stockton and Modesto stay sunny near 93. Fresno, Visalia reach around 100. And Bakersfield tops out near 101. That's a snapshot of today's weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's a picture of our backyard. Actually, pretty nice this morning, and got a little bit of smoke kind of around the edges from the East Evans Creek fire. We'll give you a fire update in a little bit, but actually a pretty nice morning out there.
Actually, our temperature is going to be cooler than up in Medford. In Tucson, it's going to be 97.
Oh, well, there you go.
We do have a chance for rain, so it'll make it a little bit humid.
Okay, there you go.
But I bet you'd love the humidity for all the fires there.
We're not doing bad on the humidity thing. I thought, man, we'd be way down there, but we're not as good as you. But there is some moisture in the air, yes.
Good, good. It's always helpful.
All right.
Well, let's take a look at the Psalms. I mean, you know, that's always a good thing to go to. Some people read like a chapter of the Psalms, chapter of the Proverbs, and then a chapter somewhere else. So, yeah, you've probably done this before. Pastor Jack Graham took a look at the sanctity of life created by God found in the Psalms.
But you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together. This is David the psalmist writing. You knitted me together. Beautiful description of God engineering, knitting together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am, say it, fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. David knew what we all should know. Again, common sense tells you this. Your own conscience realizes this. Unless your conscience has been seared by Satan himself. He said, my frame, that speaks of the skeletal system, the bones. These were not hidden from you when I was made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Again, the weaving like a beautiful work of art. Ephesians 2:10 says, we are his workmanship, created in Jesus Christ unto good works. So here we are woven together in our mother's womb. And then verse 16, your eyes saw my unformed substance. The word means embryo.
Well, you hear that a lot at that scripture from pro-life rallies, but the fact of the matter remains that God saw you before.
That's amazing.
Yeah. All right, good morning to you. Let's check out some of the big stories, and kind of a scattered bunch here this morning. Let me just kind of give you an interesting story yesterday as our U.S. Treasury Department continues to find fraud. So they stopped nearly $100 million in federal payments to dead people.
Wow.
Okay. And the Department of Bureau of Fiscal Services have found money that was sent to ghosts after reviewing 885 million payments totaling nearly $2.7 trillion as money's been going to ghost people. And the 100 million that they were able to track directly to people that were deceased. So it's good news, but also what in the world is going on that they would have this much craziness and fraud in our government and the money going out? So
apparently the Treasury Department believes in the afterlife. They believe in ghosts.
I guess so. Here's the question, though. Here's the question. Who was cashing those checks?
That's what I was wondering. Who are the quote-unquote ghosts who got all that money?
Yeah, because obviously these checks got cashed, and whose accounts did they go into? You know, will there ever be a research on that? The other
Could it be relatives of the person who died, and then they just cash it?
Power of
Maybe
attorney.
it's as simple as that.
Could be all kinds of things. All right. So anyway, but they're uncovering it, and so far the number is 2.7 trillion. And 885 million payments that have made, totaling $2.7 trillion that they're finding out there. Those are big numbers. Okay, the other thing is Senator Rand Paul, he's been a hawk when it comes to COVID-19. And it does look like that Dr. Fauci could be subpoenaed. Now, does that subpoena turn into something? But newly released Slack messages show that the Biden administration clearly played down what was going on with the investigation as to where the COVID-19 origin really was. New documents reveal that the FBI blocked Customs and Border Protection from questioning former president of the EcoHealth Alliance, a researcher linked to Wuhan lab, an institute there, and what they call the gain of function. That was a big thing. And Senator Rand Paul and GOP lawmakers now looking at the Biden administration's actions regarding COVID-19 origins and investigation. Apparently there was a lot of look the other way. So I will say one thing about Rand Paul. He's been a hawk with this from the very beginning. You probably have seen the exchange between him and Dr. Fauci. It got heated at times. But if Dr. Fauci now could be called into and subpoena in to testify, I wonder where this is going to go. Somebody said that there are some loopholes and ambiguities in the statutes by which he could still be convicted.
Wow. And we'll maybe find out if it really was a Wuhan lab where all that came from.
Well, so you in Arizona, you had a primary yesterday. What's going on, man?
Yeah, well, people were looking at the Arizona primary to see is the socialist / Marxist / communist agenda that has swept through Washington, D.C., New York, and other areas. Is it moving into Arizona as well? Because they had a socialist candidate. His name is Kai Newkirk, who is running on the Democratic ticket, and he lost handily. He only got like 37% of the vote. So they're saying, okay, maybe this momentum is now coming to a stop. Arizona considered now a purple state. It used to be, it's a state of Barry Goldwater years ago, and it's kind of shifted that way. So that happened. But Andy Biggs, he's a current congressman from Arizona who's running for governor on the Republican side. And he won that race without a problem. He'll be going up against a Democrat who some say is really in trouble at this point. But Andy Biggs won, and here's some of the things that he said. He can work across the aisle without a problem.
I am a conservative. I'm a principled conservative, but I work with people that don't necessarily agree with me on every issue, because you're not going to find someone who agrees with you on every issue. In other words, you can work across the aisle. And that's what I've always done, is try to find points of agreement.
And I think he has, because you may not have heard his name too much, but he hasn't been a contentious Republican that Democrats don't like.
Well, look at this. What if Arizona gets Biggs? What if Oregon gets Drazen? And what if California gets Hilton? And all of these three conservatives are seriously in play.
And I think you'd have if that were to happen, I mean, that's kind of a long shot, perhaps some would say, but you would have now a coalition of the West Coast, pretty much, that could be very impactful west of the Mississippi. So, be interesting.
Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, how would you describe Arizona's voter integrity?
Well, it's a big question. We don't quite have the voter by mail that Oregon has, so I think that's probably a good thing. But you drop your ballot in the mailbox or whatever, and at least if during the primary. And where does it go after that? Even if you're doing it, so I'd say voter integrity. That's a concern throughout the whole United States, really.
All right. Yeah. There was an interesting hearing on the Hill yesterday dealing with Congresswoman Nancy Mace and the Smithsonian head.
Yeah. Let me set this up a little bit.
Okay.
Did you know the Smithsonian is funded by 62% of taxpayer dollars? We're talking about think of all the Smithsonian impact. And we like to go to the museums and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I think what we saw yesterday on Capitol Hill is that it still has a woke agenda, because you're right, Nancy Mace and others as well, talking to the Smithsonian head about specific gender issues. But it wasn't just a concept of theory. It's some of the displays they have in the Smithsonian for people when they come to see those particular historic aspects that the Smithsonian is normally good at.
Do you believe that men can become women?
Ma'am, as the director of the museum, that's not relevant in this case.
It's very relevant. You've got men dressed up as women, and you have them on displays in front of kids. Do you think men can become women, yes or no?
So RuPaul's Drag Race, which is the upper...
It's a man. RuPaul is a man who dresses like a woman, literally.
Correct.
What is a woman, Dr. Hartig?
As a director and as a historian, it's not my opportunity.
You sexualize the American History Museum. So this is a fair question. What is a woman?
So at the museum...
What is a woman?
We strive to represent and not categorize all Americans.
Okay, I have another question for you. There's a glossary at the museum that informs visitors that while American culture traditionally recognizes 2 genders, other countries recognize 3 or more. So enlighten me this morning. How many genders are there?
Ma'am, which glossary?
This is a display, and it has a glossary that says other countries recognize 3 or more genders. So I would like you to enlighten me today. You're the director of the American History Museum who's sexualized things in front of kids. I want to ask you, how many genders are there?
So first of all, I'm happy to get
How
back
many?
to you about the glossary.
How many genders are there?
Sure.
And what are they?
I'm not sure which glossary you're speaking of.
Of course, I know that you don't. You know exactly what this hearing was about today. One of your exhibits at the American History Museum says sometimes gender isn't revealed at birth. So when is gender revealed?
So
when was your gender revealed to you, Dr. Hartig?
So I don't really think that's relevant to the
It is relevant. You have a display at the American History Museum talking about gender isn't always revealed at birth. So when was your gender revealed?
So since I am a PhD and...
I wasn't done yet, but I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mason.
Boy, that person should be sheep in it. She just go from there to the employment office and get fired.
But she's got a PhD, Perry.
Well, I don't care. That means it's just piled higher and deeper. That's all that means.
Well, I laugh, but, you know, it's pretty sad because this is the kind of thing that you'll see when you go there. And I don't go there for a political agenda. I want to see the history. There's some great stuff that they have there. But anyway, that...
Well, you got to ask the question, why is this there? Why is it? What part of history is this? And if this woman can't even ask those basic questions and she's the #1 person in charge of all of this?
Yeah.
I mean, if I would hope that America understands that we've been under a social attack kind of behind the scenes, and then it pops up like this, and what do? They defend it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, or they don't have any answer at all, and it's like, yeah, you have an answer, you're just not telling us. So, yeah,
well, the answer, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, crazy. So you woke up in the middle of the night, you turn your TV on, and there's Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Yes, he's in China, by the way. He was talking to the foreign minister. Now, I don't know if most people know about this. I mean, I think we're learning about it. Later on, and it may be next year, President Trump is going to be making a trip, apparently, to China. That's on the schedule. I mean, anything can change. And Marco Rubio met with the foreign minister, and he talked to reporters about his meeting and what's planned in the future.
I think President Xi will have a very positive visit when he comes to Washington. Look, these are the 2 most powerful countries in the world, particularly economics. But also, I mean, we have to have a relationship. And obviously there are areas of great differences. Both sides will acknowledge that. We'll have to work through those. And I think these differences will exist for the foreseeable future. And our job is to sort of manage those so that they never get out of control.
I mentioned that Trump would be going to China. Actually, it's Xi coming to...
Yeah. So I wonder if he's going to Mar-a-Lago again. Remember when President Trump became president the first time, first person he welcomed to Mar-a-Lago was him. So we'll see.
Well, it's just a slight side trip.
You know, come on down.
Coming all the way from China, why not?
Yeah, we'll play a little golf or something. All right.
Well, Trump, the president was really busy yesterday. He had a special guest who drove up to the White House. And it was a person we haven't seen too much about. And I think a lot of people are wondering, the Lebanon situation in the Middle East. What is it as its relationship with Israel? Well, the Lebanese president, Joseph Aoun, met with President Trump. They actually, but I've noticed this, they had a very good talk in front of reporters about the future of Lebanon and the U.S. Of course, Donald Trump is really good at all of this. But during their meeting, he was asked by reporters about the Houthis and if they try to stop and block a trade deal with the U.S. And here's what the president said.
So far, it hasn't happened, might happen, but we take care of things. If something like that happens, we take care of it. We've done that with the Houthis before, and we haven't heard from them in a while since we did what we did originally. That was about 45 days of very powerful action we took against the Houthis. And we've had no problem with the Houthis. They've had no problem with us for a long period of time, including during this conflict. I think that if there is something like that, we'll just have to take care of business.
Yeah.
So that's the Houthis if they do something in the Red Sea to try to blockade. I mean, there's so many factors going on in this Gulf area.
Well, you got to remember that the Houthis are certainly supplied by Iran, and they lob missiles wherever they can.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
I haven't heard too much about them lately, but I suppose the question could come that they could come into play. All right, one other story I have for you is give you an update with Nancy Guthrie, the investigation there. She's been missing now for 6 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And Perry, you and I talked about this. It's kind of interesting that they're coming up with this. We were wondering, why didn't the FBI get involved earlier? Why didn't the Pima County Sheriff's Department allow the FBI to look at some of the probing investigative efforts that could have been there? And now we're finding out, because of the delay in getting them there, they have actually lost some of the data. And especially because, like, you'll see the Ring camera phone data. Apparently, Nancy had not been paying for long-term storage. So just because of time, some of that stuff was lost and can't be retrieved. So we've been told. So kind of something that you and I talked about. If the FBI had been there earlier, would we have had more information? Because right now they're still trying to figure out who was involved in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
So has the local sheriff been asked that question? Why did you wait so long to bring the feds in?
I think he was asked that question. It's one of those situations where he's not going to say, oh, yes, we really messed up. It's not going to be that way. He's probably going to say, well, we had all the information that we could get, and we investigated it. But look, the FBI, they've been doing this for a long time, and they also have more power from a legal standpoint to get information than local sheriff's department does. It's just a sad situation. And should the FBI have been called in earlier? The answer is yes.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break. Let's see. If you like fudge, that's out there. If you like mangoes, that's out there.
Yeah, together, I'm not sure, but separately, I like it.
All right. We'll check it out. We'll be right back.
Tries to water you down where beliefs cannot be spoken too loud. I'll stand for truth.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Wednesday, into one of the most remote places on Earth.
What if you fail? What if you get sick? What if you get eaten?
The island nation of Papua New Guinea.
The first week, it was so romantic, you know?
Go deep inside the jungle.
I couldn't see his skin. It was all completely covered in ants.
And see how these missionaries built the promised land.
I've seen how God has used the land to bear so much fruit.
Wednesday morning at 11 on theDove TV.
Okay, welcome back. 25 minutes past the hour. Stephen Perry with you this morning, and we have hot temperatures today. Our humidity, by the way, is going to be up in the 60s, so we're pretty happy about that. Oh. However, when you have this hot weather down below and moisture in the air, that is the combination for thunderstorms. So we'll see how this goes. But let me give you a little bit of an update of what's happening with the fires. The big one that's impacting us right here in our own backyard is called the East Evans Creek Fire. It's a little over 15,000 acres and about 26% contained. That's good news. And the fire teams are still there. Not too many aircraft working it, at least airplanes. There's a lot of helicopters still on the scene, but we only have one airplane on the tarmac out there this morning. You go over on the east side of Oregon, and you got what they call the Roe Creek Complex Fire. Now, this takes in several counties: Wheeler, Wasco, Jefferson. 148,000 acre fire.
Wow. Wow.
21% contained. Also out towards Crook and Jefferson County, which is way out there on the east side. Box Spring Fire, they're calling it. That's 12,000 acres, no containment there. And then the Hay Creek Complex Fire. This is kind of interesting. It does take in quite a few fires, even what they call the Hogue Fire. And these affects Sherman, Wasco, and Gilliam counties. And they got 117,000 acres burning there. There are quite a few fires, so they put them all together to call it a complex fire. They are getting a handle on it, but they're still burning pretty wild out there. 67% contained. What they call the Cow Camp Fire, which is over in Malheur County, way out on the east side of Oregon. That's around 3,400 acres, 5%. Those are the ones that are getting most of the attention and the equipment being sent. Still over 200 and almost 250,000 acres are burning in the state this morning. Just a little bit to the south of it to give you an idea, just down in Northern California, this would be down around Lassen County, they have what they call the Biscar Fire. It's pushing 70,000 acres.
Wow.
About 5%. So the fire scene in the Pacific Northwest is serious. Limited, I say limited. What equipment and assets we have to fight these fires and personnel, we're running thin, let's put it that way. They're being dispatched all over the place. The airplanes come in here to Medford where they have an actual tanker base where they're able to fill them up with the retardant. And then they fly off and they go to the other counties over there. The DC-10 refuels here, gets the retardant here, and then it's only like a 15-minute flight to go 6 counties over. And that's kind of what's going on over there. But high and dry, high humidity today, so we'll see what goes. When you have high humidity clouds, heat on the ground, that's the combination for thunderstorms, so that's kind of what's happening out there. So let's take a look at the satellite image, give you a little bit of an idea of what this looks like. And you can see some of the moisture in the air up over parts of Oregon and even here in southern Oregon. So good news, bad news kind of thing. So hopefully when you have 100 degrees, 103 here in Medford, and then you got some cloud cover, oh boy, that's alarming. So that's the scene. We'll keep you posted. They seem to be slowly gaining on some of these fires. One of the goals is when they're fighting them, they're holding the lines pretty well now. The winds, fortunately, haven't been gusting as bad as they have been. There's still some out there that move around, and that's always a factor. But they try to turn these fires so they burn to themselves and burn out. But at least that's some of the plan. Then comes the wind, and all that can change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
All right, I find some of these little clips on YouTube very interesting to get kind of an insight into the different age cultures, let's call it that, of people in the United States and around the world, really. I have found that anxiety, and you may have seen the results of this for young people, is super high, much more than when we were kids. There's a level of anxiousness, and this causes, I think, a lot of people to get angry, and it spreads to a whole lot of things. Well, there's one guy that I saw on the internet. He's a younger guy, and I have no idea what his spiritual background is at all. But you can tell he just kind of took a breath and said, you know what? We need to look at how we're living our lives a little bit differently and get our priorities straight.
Hopefully you realize this before it's too late, but you don't have to be so serious, okay? At the end of the day, you're going to lose a job, okay? You're going to forget where you put something. You're going to wreck the car, okay? You're going to spend too much money. You're going to break up. You're going to move away. You're going to grow apart. People are going to disappear. People are going to be mad at you. No matter what you do, you can't make everything go the way you want it to. So stop trying. Just enjoy the ride. Make people laugh. Make people smile. Be the light in the darkness. Be a lighthouse. And let everybody know, hey, it's okay. It's okay to take a second and breathe, because so much of us have forgot how to even do that. Not everything is the end of the world. Nothing is the end of the world. And everything is evidence that the only thing that we are here to do is to love, is to smile, is to enjoy the beauty of being alive. So remember that. Thank you.
Well, it's pretty simplistic, but I think that whole aspect that he says, be a light, isn't that what we're supposed to be to those around us?
You know what's interesting about that? It really fits the research that we're seeing, how young men are stepping back and saying, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not going to get caught up in this anxiety and this anger and this frustration. Gotta have, gotta go, gotta be, gotta do. That's kind of interesting. So, yeah, surprise.
I found it, yeah.
Yeah, surprise somebody today. Do something kind for them.
There you go.
And don't expect anything in return. I think that's
absolutely, yeah.
Gosh, if I do something for you, you better bank that and do something for me.
Yeah.
So
I'm waiting for you to do something, Perry.
I'm going to go get you a mango. I'll be right back.
And I'll see how I react.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Visit fishlakeresorts.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Welcome back. lot going on these days. In our backyard, around the country, all over the world, and of course the Middle East continues to be a hot spot, no question about it. 11 nights in a row we've been doing some things over there.
Wow.
So let's check in with CBN News and get caught up.
The U.S. struck Iran overnight for the 9th straight night after an Iranian attack on a U.S. base in Jordan this weekend. At least 2 U.S. servicemen were killed and 1 is missing.
We hit them very hard again tonight, and we did that in honor of the probably 3. It's probably 3 as opposed to 2. Great patriots.
Another service member died in northern Iraq during a controlled detonation of a downed Iranian drone. Iran also launched an attack on the Gulf of Aqaba in the Red Sea. The U.S. intercepted the missiles, and Israel also launched interceptors. Booms were reportedly heard in Eilat, heightening concerns that the war could soon encompass Israel. The U.S. struck infrastructure sites, including tunnels and bridges in Iran and those leading to the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei threatened unforgettable lessons if U.S. attacks continue. Quoting an unnamed official, the Jerusalem Post says that President Trump is leaning toward expanding the campaign in Iran, and there are reports the U.S. is sending more warplanes to the region from Europe. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is still open to diplomacy if Iran changes its behavior.
I think we're always open to diplomacy. It has to be real. It has to be a deal that they're willing to live by. Look, Iran a week ago was supposed to put out a statement saying that the Straits of Hormuz would be open, that they would no longer attack shipping. And instead of doing that, they attacked 3 ships.
In a CNN interview posted on X, senior military analyst Admiral James Stavridis says Iran could expand the war by targeting another key waterway.
It's called the Suez Canal. It's got more traffic flowing through it than the Strait of Hormuz. And the Iranians are beginning to make noises about attempting to close that using the Houthis in the southwest corner of the Arabian Peninsula.
Gulf states are publicly denouncing Iran. The Kuwaiti Foreign Ministry condemned what it said was an Iranian attack on vital civilian infrastructure, including a water desalination plant. And in a rare interaction with Israeli media, a former Saudi general tells Channel 12 that Iran's strikes in the region should bring extremely serious consequences.
The war shows no signs of letting up as Iran responds to U.S. strikes with missile attacks across the region, setting off air raid sirens in Jordan overnight. The Pentagon has identified 2 U.S. soldiers killed by an Iranian missile that hit an American air base in Jordan. First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan from Hawaii and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez of Carrollton, Texas.
And our hearts go out to his family. These are heroes that pay the ultimate price.
Iranian attacks also left nearly 100 U.S. service members injured since early July, most suffering concussions or minor wounds. The Pentagon says 96% of them have returned to duty.
Nothing the military does was safe. It's all inherently dangerous, and we're just grateful to have such heroic Americans in uniform in the service of our country.
President Trump ordering the Pentagon to kill many times the number of Iranians for every U.S. soldier killed. In Yemen, Iran's Houthi allies are escalating their own threats, announcing a blockade of Saudi oil shipments through the Red Sea. The move threatens another major global oil shipping route as the Strait of Hormuz remains under pressure.
Here in Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened his security cabinet Monday night in preparation should they enter the war. Netanyahu is also planning to visit Washington following today's expected meeting between President Trump and the president of Lebanon.
Trump took to Truth Social Monday to dismiss New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani's threat to arrest Netanyahu should he ever visit New York, writing that an arrest will never happen in any way, shape, or form. Israel's UN ambassador also weighing in.
The person who should be arrested is not our prime minister, is you, Mr. Mamdani.
Pakistan is stepping up its diplomatic efforts, and an Iranian official is in Islamabad meeting with the prime minister. Secretary Rubio says there's still room to talk peace, but the U.S. will not allow Iranian attacks on shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, I can't wait till Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gives his fiery speech at the UN.
Me too. Boy, that will be something to watch.
He knows how to do it. All right. Good morning to you. Let's check out the weather for you today.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, Vancouver and Portland turn sunny with patchy smoke and highs near 100. Wilsonville climbs to 103, while McMinnville also pushes close to 100. Through the Willamette Valley, it's a very warm day. Salem and Albany top out around 100. Corvallis reaches 98 under mostly sunny skies, and Eugene comes in near 99. Central Oregon has patchy smoke, then a few afternoon rumbles possible. Prineville reaches 98. Bend tops out near 93, and Sun River climbs to 91 with showers possible before storms develop. Boise stays warm and dry near 96. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay starts with areas of fog, then carries a slight storm chance with a high near 75. Port Orford begins foggy before turning mostly sunny near 71. Brookings stays foggy and cool near 57, while Crescent City is partly sunny near 67. In southern Oregon, Grants Pass reaches 101 with mostly sunny skies and a small storm possibility later. Medford climbs to 103. Ashland reaches 98 with sunshine before a few showers may pop up. And Klamath Falls hits 93 with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Across northern California, Wairika reaches 98 with sunshine and an isolated storm possible later. Redding and Chico hover around 100, while Fort Bragg stays mostly sunny near 64. Around the Bay Area, Santa Rosa turns sunny near 80. Napa reaches 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and 76. And San Jose is sunny near 87. Across central California, Sacramento and Stockton and Modesto stay sunny near 93. Fresno, Visalia reach around 100, and Bakersfield tops out near 101. That's a snapshot of today's weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, it's time for Jerry's Historical Archives, and historic archives, too. Well, no matter what version of a song that you may like on this day in history, it was actually written, and Jerry tells us about it.
Hello, Cat.
Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain.
As Ray Charles reminds us, those words were first inspired on this day in 1893 when teacher and poet Catherine Lee Bates stood atop Pikes Peak in Colorado. Looking out across the vast American landscape, she was moved to write a poem celebrating not just the country's breathtaking beauty, but also its highest ideals of grace, liberty, and brotherhood. Published 2 years later, America the Beautiful would become one of our nation's most beloved patriotic songs. More than 130 years later, its timeless message continues to remind us that America's greatest strength isn't just found in its mountains and amber waves of grain, but in its people.
Sea to shining sea.
Have you ever been to the top of
that?
Pikes
Wow.
Peak? You ever been up there?
You know, I haven't. I've been on a lot of Colorado mountain peaks, but not that one.
That one is worth going to the top. I still can't
Apparently, it
figure-
inspires you to write a song when you get
Well,
there.
you get
huh?
up there and you see this, and of course that is written up there. They have a plaque up there for that. But
oh, okay.
I guess at one point that song was considered possibly becoming the national anthem, but they backed away from that. But the other thing is, being the car racing enthusiast that you are, the Pikes Peak car race.
Yeah.
Right. If you make a mistake, you're done.
It's all dirt.
It's
Yeah.
all dirt.
Amazing.
There's no guardrails, and
wow.
You look down there, and you're looking like there's 10,000 feet right there.
I think I'd drive with a parachute just in case something happened. I could parachute all the way down.
All right, 16 minutes before the hour, a guy by the name of Bear Grylls. Grills.
Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls. He's on the BBC One Songs of Praise and talks about faith and the hymns that had shaped his life. Here's what he had to say.
I've learned that church isn't a building. Church is a community. and it's rooted in friendships. I find church in the little things. I do a daily thing every day with a friend, and he lives the other side of the world, and we just read a little bit of the Bible and say a little prayer together, just a few minutes. In a way, that's church for me. Kneeling beside the bed of our boys as they used to go to sleep when they were growing up. That was church for me. Maybe saying grace at mealtimes, simple things. But then you do come to buildings like this and you realize actually that community is so powerful. When it's rooted in connection with the Almighty and great friends, it's a real force for good. Our world needs that. I think that beautiful hymn, Abide With Me, always resonates strongly because it says, abide with me, fast falls the eventide. And that is life. As you know, as a dad, I'm a dad, our kids grow up so fast, life moves so fast, that eventide is falling fast. And it's like know where your foundations are in life. Have your eye on the end prize. Life is a long game. I want to make sure I'm heading somewhere good. And that starts on our knees before the Almighty.
Boy, some people would have to look up Abide With Me because it's not exactly a praise and worship song in a lot of churches, but what a great song. It reminds you of all of those Fanny Crosby songs and everything that used to be written. Amazing.
Well, I'll be careful here because it would take more time to explain, but the return of interest of hymns, not only the actual music itself, but the stories behind them. Have become great interest, and our friends in New Zealand are testing this on one of their channels.
Oh, interesting.
It is a huge success. Huge success. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of a turn there.
And inspiration can come from anywhere, including the top of Pikes Peak.
There you go. Or with a cat in your lap. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paulina Leiser, producer and host of The Ancient Church. Join me Sunday evenings as we explore Orthodox Christianity, its history, theology, worship, and living traditions.
The Ancient Church, Sundays at 6 p.m. on the Dove TV.
The Life Essentials Interactive Study Bible by Dr. Gene Getz. The first ever multimedia study Bible with QR codes enabling you to view 1,500 videos. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, or computer with Gene Getz teaching Principles to Live By from every book of Scripture. 250 hours of in-depth teaching. Gene Getz has over 60 years of Bible teaching and is a renowned theologian. The Life Essentials Bible is a seminary in a box. Read, watch, apply. Get yours today for your own spiritual growth or as a gift that will minister greatly to your family and friends. Purchase your copy of the Life Essentials Study Bible at Christian bookstores or go to their website, BiblePrinciples.org. and click on Video Search, where you can access all the principles for free. Take your faith deeper. Get your Life Essentials. Study Bible today at Christian bookstores or BiblePrinciples.org.
Pastor Jack Hibbs, championing religious liberty, a deep love of God, freedom, and America. You may have seen him in the news during COVID as he pushed back against government-mandated church closures. Now you can see him on the Dove TV every weekend on Real Life with Jack Hibbs. Learn, grow in your faith, and impact the world with authentic biblical teaching. Watch Real Life with Jack Hibbs Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on the Dove TV.
Well, how y'all doing out there? Happy.
I'm doing great, Perry. Thanks for asking.
Wednesday. I see you found your copy.
Logan helped me find it. It was in the other room.
It was.
It was in my computer room.
And what's in it?
It's a dark roast, and it's a Labaza that I get from Amazon.
Labaza from Amazon. Is that a country?
It makes. No, it's a brand, but it makes great coffee. It makes a great espresso that goes great in the cappuccino espresso machine.
Okay, there you go.
It works really well. Yeah, and I suggest it for everyone.
There you go.
Great. Yeah.
Well, I think we forget not too long ago, Rush Limbaugh was around during President Trump's first term, and he was commenting on that, and he looks at the reaction of the Democrats when the Iranian commander was killed by President Trump during his first term, and how the Democrats responded to that. And here's what Rush had to say.
She introduced and played a clip of me from yesterday's program.
I want to play a little bit of Rush Limbaugh today, talking about the reaction from the left in a number of quarters to the death of Qasem Soleimani, who is unmistakably responsible for the deaths of hundreds, if not thousands of Americans, thousands of other people of all ethnicities and backgrounds, but including, yes, American lives. Here's what Rush Limbaugh said today in talking with the president about reaction.
In the past 2 or 3 days since the attack on Soleimani, you literally have the Democrat Party and elements of that party openly supporting Iran, an enemy of the United States, openly supporting the terrorist actions of that country. And this is a country that beheads homosexuals and transgenders and has no human rights for the very constituency the Democrat Party claims to represent. I don't know what's arguable about that. I mean, the Democrat... All of these little millennials and these AOC types, they do think that Iran is superior. I've got a story right here. Ocasio-Cortez accuses monster Trump of engaging in war crimes over Iran threats. You know, Trump has threatened to hit their cultural sites. They don't have any cultural sites. Cultural sites are military installations. We already got rid of their cultural sites. It happened a long time ago. I'm half jesting here, but the point is that here you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accusing Trump of being a monster for engaging in war crimes in Iran. Another headline, AOC likes tweet from Russian state media claiming Iran doesn't target civilians. You know, so our good buddies, the Russians, are out tweeting that, I don't know what Trump's talking about, Iran does not target civilians. They're only the Middle Eastern state sponsor of terrorism, and by definition, it attacks civilians. What the hell do you think a suicide bomb is? But here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez out liking and retweeting the Russian tweet that Iran doesn't kill civilians. So this is not an out-of-the-bounds thing to say, and the Iranians do. If they identify homosexuals or transgenders, they're dead. You talk about people having to live in the closet someplace in Iran. This is no joke about this. And the very people in this country who support all of that, these expanded lifestyles, out there praising Iran, it's just ignorant.
He was pretty strong on that. I remember him dealing with that quite a bit. What's interesting about that is that there were some recent clips of AOC and the crew basically reiterating what he just said, especially with the recent attacks and Operation Epic Fury there in Iran. So it's hard for us to believe that they actually feel that the motivation behind Iran is innocence.
Yeah. And how long this has been for years. This was how many years ago, and it's kind of repeating itself now to a large degree.
All right, coming up a little bit later on, I'll have Leighton Gray with us. He's great. We'll Skype him in from Canada. He's a great guy. I always enjoy talking to him. Colonel Rob Manis will be back with us, and what can you do about it? He's got some pretty interesting stories to talk about. So some good conversations coming your way in a little bit here.
You know, we always love rescue stories, and here's one that is really nothing short of amazing.
A 14-year-old Montana boy proved that practice really can save lives. When a man was swept away by the fast-moving Yellowstone River after a rafting accident, Jory Thomas grabbed the one tool he knew best, his lariat. Having spent months practicing his roping skills for cattle, Jory raced along the riverbank and with one perfect throw, lassoed the struggling man on his very first attempt. He then pulled him safely to shore where first responders took over. When Jory got home and told what had happened, he said, "I think I just saved a life." And his grandmother's response was, "Yeah, you did." Jory later said he believed God placed him there for that moment. It's an incredible reminder that the skills we work so hard to learn today may one day make all the difference in someone else's life.
If you're rafting and you see somebody with a lariat, be thankful. They might rescue you if you have problems.
Do you remember the guy that I think you covered the story when you were here? It was at the let's see, Cape, not Shady Cove. No, the other store at the Walmart up the street here.
Okay.
And Eagle Point, excuse me. And the guy comes out of the store. And I don't know if he tried to rob it or he was robbing somebody in the parking lot. And there happened to be a cowboy in the parking lot on his horse. And he chases the guy down. Do you remember that story?
I vaguely do remember that, yeah. Only in Eagle Point, I think.
Well, who goes to Walmart on a horse?
Well, I think they have horse parking areas.
I think they do. But he lassos the guy, and I go, well, okay, I've been around horses a lot and all that. I never could get the lariat thing down.
You're on a horse, you're moving, you got to stay on the horse, and you've got to be swinging that lariat. And it's
a true lariat is kind of stiff. And
it is, very stiff. That's hard to swing.
Yeah, and you got to kind of get that thing going around your head up there. And I don't know, I couldn't do it. These guys that can take off on a horse and then lasso the back legs of a calf, boy, that's
amazing.
That's pretty fancy stuff going on there.
So. It is.
All right. Good morning.
If it's somebody who's stealing, hey, it's just another 2 legs you need to.
Well, there you go. You can go out to the OK Corral there in Tucson and practice your lariat throwing.
Give it a try.
There you go.
I'll have to do that.
All right, Matthew 18, verse 20. Take this with you today. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name. This shows you the power of corporate prayer. I am there in the midst of them. That's a promise. So you can pray by yourself. That's good. But nothing like getting together with people and praying and see what the Lord does. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Open our eyes to see it, 'cause everywhere the King is, there is the kingdom.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The world has a view, but God has the vision. That's what sets a Vision TV show apart, seen on the Dove TV.
Welcome to The Vision, where the world has a view, but God has the vision.
The Vision is an inspirational talk show that elevates voices of faith through powerful conversations, highlighting changemakers making a difference.
My group, we are a collective of elder rights activists from across the nation.
Each episode blends heartfelt storytelling with practical insight.
To get up every day and just say, Lord, thank you. I'm here. If you woke me up today, you must have a purpose for me, and I think that's the thing.
Encouraging viewers to live with clarity, compassion, and vision.
We're looking for good things because this is the day that the Lord has made.
Join Alveda King and a panel of friends. The world has a view, but God has the vision. Tuesdays at 1:30 and 8:30 p.m. right here on the Dove TV.
Do
Do you realize how much our radical secular culture has influenced how you live and think? For example, our secular culture is trying to redefine or rid us of even believing in God.
Secularism is blocking the light of God. When darkness comes, there is chaos, there is violence, there are all of these things that are happening.
Join me for the John Ankerberg Show right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
Bringing clarity to cultural confusion. Stand in the Gap, Wednesdays and Thursdays on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove. Encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. And that is Steve Johnson right over there.
Good to be here with you.
Down at the Southern Command, down where it's actually cooler than it is here.
I'm in the Pentagon down here.
Oh, at the Pentagon, yes. He's at the Southern Command. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. A lot going on in the news. We'll give you a complete fire update, and there's plenty of that going on around. Always world events, and we got some actually pretty nice weather out there. A little bit of smoke around the edges, but nothing like we've had in the last couple of days. Our problem today is high humidity and very hot temperatures. That is the combination of thunderstorms, so we'll see what happens. What's up, bud?
Well, you can cool off with like tropical fruit drinks, and one good way to make them is with mangoes. It's National Mango Day.
Ooh.
And if you've never had a fresh mango, I think they only have a short shelf life. That's why we don't see them too much here. They're very, very good. Mm-hmm. It makes my mouth water just thinking about it. It's also National Fudge Day, Penuche fudge, certain kind of fudge. I don't know. I'm not a fudge. I like fudge. I just don't know that much about them. I'm sure experts would say, oh, we know exactly what that is. But any kind of fudge would be good at this point. And then have both the mango and the fudge while laying in your hammock. It is National Hammock Day. And don't fall and break your arm or something, because you're right, Perry. They can be dangerous.
They can, if you got to get in and out of them. Be careful. They can swirl you around and throw you out pretty fast. So.
They can do that.
Yeah.
It's like its own carnival ride.
There you go. Mangoes. Okay, well, I'm trying to think if I remember what the taste is.
You can get mango dragon fruit drinks and things like that. Starbucks has them for a ridiculously high price, but they do taste good. There's just not enough of them.
Okay,
and,
there you go.
Expensive.
All right, let's check out the weather as we head down the road on this Wednesday morning, and here we go.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, Vancouver and Portland turn sunny with patchy smoke and highs near 100. Wilsonville climbs to 103, while McMinnville also pushes close to 100. Through the Willamette Valley, it's a very warm day. Salem and Albany top out around 100. Corvallis reaches 98 under mostly sunny skies, and Eugene comes in near 99. Central Oregon has patchy smoke, then a few afternoon rumbles possible. Prineville reaches 98, then tops out near 93, and Sun River climbs to 91 with showers possible before storms develop. Boise stays warm and dry near 96. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay starts with areas of fog, then carries a slight storm chance with a high near 75. Port Orford begins foggy before turning mostly sunny near 71. Brookings stays foggy and cool near 57, while Crescent City is partly sunny near 67. In southern Oregon, Grants Pass reaches 101 with mostly sunny skies and a small storm possibility later. Medford climbs to 103. Ashland reaches 98 with sunshine before a few showers may pop up. And Klamath Falls hits 93 with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Across Northern California, Wairika reaches 98 with sunshine and an isolated storm possible later. Redding and Chico hover around 100 while Fort Bragg stays mostly sunny near 64. Around the Bay Area, Santa Rosa turns sunny near 80, Napa reaches 81, San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and 76, and San Jose is sunny near 87. Across Central California, Sacramento and Stockton and Modesto stay sunny near 93, Fresno, Visalia reach around 100, and Bakersfield tops out near 101. That's a snapshot of today's weather from Grange Co-op.
The picture of the south end of our valley, kind of nice, is the days are getting a little bit shorter, so not a full cast of sunshine on top of that, primarily because we also have some clouds out there. So anyway, you can see it's very dry. Be careful.
Yeah, hey, I've got some encouragement for you. Actually, let me say that Pastor Jack Graham has some encouragement for you. And it's the fact that God not only creates life, as if that wasn't enough, but he also sustains it as well.
God is the author, the creator, and the sustainer of human life. And that is true from the beginning. You are not a product of evolution, but of creation. You're made by God and for his purposes and for his pleasure. And at the very beginning, when he created Adam and Eve, the first man and the first woman, this actually literally happened. This is the truth of Scripture. Adam and Eve are not figurative. They're not allegorical. Had you been in the Garden of Eden, you could have taken a selfie with Adam and Eve. They were there. Why? Created by God, because God is the author of human life. This is why we say that the image Deo, the image of God, the imprint of God is upon every life created by God. So that's Psalm 139. We'll get back to it along with others. And then secondly, the second core conviction that we have is that God made humanity in his image and likeness, which means that human life is unique, unlike animal life. I mean, our dogs, they're close to being human. Rowdy and Dandy, I think they have more privileges in the house than I do. And as much as we love our animals, and God loves the animals, by the way, and created them, God loves dogs, cats.
Hey, not sure I like that.
I like Jack Graham. Well, let me ask you the question that gets asked a lot.
What's that?
Will there be dogs and cats in heaven?
Yes, and the lion will lie down with the lamb, and the dogs and cats will be on top of each other, and yeah, why not?
Okay, there you go. All right, good stuff. Good stuff all around. All right, good morning to you. Let's take a look at some of the top stories out there, and kind of an interesting array of stories this morning. Let's see if we can work our way through them. The U.S. Treasury Department is continuing to find unbelievable fraud. Yesterday, they stopped nearly $100 million in federal payments to people who are dead. This is unbelievable. The question I have is, who's been cashing their checks all this time? So when they get into the bottom of it, the Fiscal Service found that money was being sent to ghosts and other people, and reviewing 885 million payments have gone out to ghost people for a total of $2.7 trillion.
That's amazing.
You know, no wonder when you come along and you interrupt the gravy chain, no wonder people get mad.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what's happening out there. The other story is apparently more and more is coming out about COVID-19 and its origin. If you remember back during the heat of all of this, Senator Rand Paul went after Dr. Fauci, and they really went back and forth, and it was pretty heated at times. Dr. Fauci basically is now being considered to be subpoenaed to come in and testify that apparently during the Biden administration, under the direction of the president, the FBI blocked a lot of the Customs and Borders Protection questioning what was going on with Wuhan lab. Now, they're going to get into this and bring it out. So I don't know if Fauci, Dr. Fauci, he's retired now. You know, he was the highest paid government official.
Yeah, he was making over $400,000 a year. No one else in the federal government was making that much.
Yeah, and there's a lot up there, but they're saying now that the statutes, given the situation of this, the statutes may not apply to him, that he could still be held liable. So those are some of the stories that are going on out there. In the meantime, you guys down there, you Arizonians, is that what you call yourselves?
Arizonans.
Arizonans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You had a midterm yesterday. What's going on?
Yeah, a big election because the country was really looking at this particular one. There's a guy whose name is Kai Newkirk, who is a socialist on the Democrat side, and he was running for Congress. And they thought, is the wave that we've seen in New York City, Washington, and other areas full of socialists from the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, is that going to carry over to Arizona? Apparently not. He only got like 37% of the vote, so he's out of that race. Another race being looked at is Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs, who's running for governor. He won, so he will be representing Republicans, of course, as a result of that. And he says, you know what, he can reach out to both sides of the aisle on political issues.
I am a conservative. I'm a principled conservative, but I work with people that don't necessarily agree with me on every issue, because you're not going to find someone who agrees with you on every issue. In other words, you can work across the aisle, and that's what I've always done, is try to find points of agreement.
So we'll see what happens there. I was kind of surprised that he would go from Congress to wanting to be a governor, but there you go. A lot of people, I'll have to tell you the inside, just my observation is that a lot of people really have problems with Katie Hobbs. It's not that she's so controversial, it's just that they don't see her as being effective in leadership for the state of Arizona. So we'll see what happens. This will be an interesting race.
It really will be, because, the old saying, the art of politics is the art of compromise without compromising your principles. So,
and he seems to have been able to do that, even though he's willing to say, hey, he's a conservative.
Yeah.
No problem that way.
So what did you think of the Smithsonian Institution head person's interview yesterday?
We thought that the woke agenda had been put to bed some time ago, and this just shows it hasn't. It's pretty entrenched in the federal government and in the places we like to go to. I think the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum is amazing. And there are other Smithsonian museums. There's natural history, all sorts of stuff. It's terrific to go to. During a hearing yesterday, Congresswoman Nancy Mace was talking to the head of the Smithsonian about some issues that she observed that seemed to be woke, and asked her about them.
Do you believe that men can become women?
Ma'am, as the director of the museum, that's not relevant in this case.
It's very relevant. You've got men dressed up as women, and you have them on displays in front of kids. Do you think men can become women, yes or no?
So RuPaul's Drag Race, which is the upper...
It's a man. RuPaul is a man who dresses like a woman, literally.
Correct.
What is a woman, Dr. Hartig?
As a director and as a historian, it's not my opportunity.
You sexualize the American History Museum, so this is a fair question. What is a woman?
So at the museum...
What is a woman?
We strive to represent and not categorize all Americans.
Okay, I have another question for you. There's a glossary at the museum that informs visitors that while American culture traditionally recognizes 2 genders, other countries recognize 3 or more. So enlighten me this morning. How many genders are there?
Ma'am, which glossary?
This is a display, and that has a glossary that says other countries recognize 3 or more genders. So I would like you to enlighten me today. You're the director of the American History Museum who's sexualized things in front of kids. I want to ask you, how many genders are there?
So first of all, I'm happy to get
How
back
many?
to you about the glossary.
How many genders are there?
I'm not sure.
And what are they?
I'm not sure which glossary you're speaking of.
Of course, I know that you don't. You know exactly what this hearing was about today. One of your exhibits at the American History Museum says sometimes gender isn't revealed at birth. So when is gender revealed?
So
when was your gender revealed to you, Dr. Hartig?
So I don't really think that's relevant to the
It is relevant. You have a display at the American History Museum talking about gender isn't always revealed at birth. So when was your gender revealed?
So since I am a PhD and...
I wasn't done yet, but I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you,
I think what this shows that the subtleties of the agenda of all of this sexual revolution, you just slowly change, well, genders weren't really noticeable at birth, which leaves the door open. You can change it, obviously. They're changing pregnant women to pregnant people.
Yes.
You can see the subtlety of this agenda. And here it is in full display of somebody who is the head of the Smithsonian. I mean, my stars, it doesn't get any more bigger than that. You got to wonder, who can fire her? Can the president fire her?
That's a good question. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
I don't know how she gets fired. It's just amazing. So early this morning, you were having coffee with Marco Rubio?
Well, not exactly. I was having coffee. Marco Rubio was talking.
Oh, okay.
That's as close as it gets.
Okay. What happened?
What happened was he's in China, and he's been meeting with the Chinese foreign minister. Of course, the whole Mideast situation, so many things deal with the United States and China. And he talked to reporters about the meeting that Xi Jinping is going to be having down the line with President Trump.
I think President Xi will have a very positive visit when he comes to Washington. Look, these are the two most powerful countries in the world, particularly economics, but also, I mean, we have to have a relationship. And obviously there are areas of great differences. Both sides will acknowledge that. We'll have to work through those, and I think these differences will exist for the foreseeable future. And our job is to sort of manage those so that they never get out of control.
So we'll see. It'll be months from now that Xi will be visiting, but you can imagine there'll be a lot to talk about at that point. Speaking of talking about it, yesterday we had the Lebanese president. I don't know, this may be the first time. I don't think he's ever been to Washington, to the White House specifically. Yeah, Joseph Aoun. Can't hear you, Perry, for some reason. There you go. But he came to Washington and he talked to the president about the issues dealing with Lebanon and Israel. And he said, you know what? Lebanon has what he called a Hezbollah problem. Here's what he told reporters about that particular issue as it relates to the President Aoun.
I would speak to Hezbollah, yeah. I speak to everybody. I'll speak to people that a lot of people think I shouldn't be speaking to, and things work out. I would speak to
Mr. President,
I would speak to Hezbollah. I would say this: if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, he's lived with Hezbollah for a long time, and if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, I would.
The thing about President Trump, he's pretty blunt about the discussions when the main guy is sitting right next to him, and they haven't even had their roundtable discussion yet. So that's interesting. I'm willing to talk to anybody.
Well, what's so interesting about the Hezbollah thing? I mean, you got now the president is saying to Lebanon, use your military to finish the job with Hezbollah inside your country. Okay?
Wow. Yeah. Mm.
But when you look at Lebanon and you look at this leader, they too subscribe to the philosophies that Hezbollah does. It's just a lesser.
That'll be a problem.
It's a lesser degree. So it's like saying to the fox in the hen house, chase the other fox away, we'll take care of it.
Mm.
I don't think this is a weird thing. We don't get this over here. Lebanon, you got to remember when Lebanon had the big explosion there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
About 2 years ago. I mean, the whole town just went poof because its munitions port blew up.
Right. That was about 4, maybe 5 years ago, Perry. It was amazing.
It was a huge deal. I mean, it was almost the closest thing to an atomic explosion you could possibly see.
Oh, yeah. It messed up apartments near the area.
Everything.
And,
so here comes Israel, their neighbor, with all the medical help and gets to the border. And Lebanon says, we don't want you to help us.
We don't want you. Yeah.
And these are the people now that are going to say to Hezbollah, go away? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't get it. So.
Yeah, that's right. Well, one more update for you. We've been trying to figure out what happened to Nancy Guthrie. I mean, that's been the question right there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, including you and I, were talking about this. Was the Pima County Sheriff's Department in over their head in investigating all of this? And they kept the FBI from looking at the door cameras and all the rest and really being a part of the investigation for a very long time. Well, now it turns out that Savannah Guthrie, you know, the TV show host, her mother's disappearance possibly could have been with more information for the policing agencies had the FBI been called in earlier. It's kind of like what we were saying, bring in the experts. This is time to do it because they seem to have lost some evidence. Now, that doesn't mean they had it and they lost it. It's just that some of the evidence kind of disappeared, like the camera data. Apparently, Nancy Guthrie hadn't been paying for a long-term storage of that camera data, and that could have been used to find out just who was at her door, and have they been there before. So now they're looking at it saying, we lost some critical time in this, and you know, you've heard this before. In the first 48 hours, that's the most critical time to find somebody. After that, it starts getting a little cold, and it's been 5-6 going on 6 months now, I think. So they lost some information they should have had.
A couple things here. One is, if you remember correctly, when the sheriff was involved with this right at the early stages, he allowed the scene to maybe get polluted because he was allowing the press in too soon. He got complaints over that.
Yes. It seemed like a few days. Yeah.
And the press was all over the place. And in the meantime, the sheriff, couldn't get into the cameras, but the FBI did, and then we see what we see today because the FBI knew how to get into, I guess, the memory system of the camera on the wall itself, and that's how they captured those videos.
Yeah, but the long-term storage was gone, and as time, months go further, more of that gets lost.
Yeah.
So it's really unfortunate.
I can't even imagine living with that, you know. Your mom's missing. Gosh. All right, we'll take a quick break. I don't know if this includes mangoes or fudge, but we'll check it out. We'll be right back.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
back, let me give you a little bit of a update on what's happening in our state, actually in 2 states, but the Pacific Northwest is really, really dry and hot, and we have a lot of fires, and they're very dangerous, and our resources are being stretched very thin. Over 200,000. I did hear a number last night, but I have to verify it, that we're 256,000. I don't know if that's true. I haven't added them all.
Wow, that's amazing.
Acres on burning in the state of Oregon. Our own backyard fire, there is some good news here. They are slowly getting a handle on it. It's called the East Evans Creek Fire. It's a little over 15,000 acres, and late last night they claimed 26% contained. That's a good number. I will say the humidity here today is high. It's in the 60s, and so that's a good news and a bad news. The good news is it's high. The bad news is we've got a lot of moisture in there with heat on the ground. We could see thunderstorms this afternoon. There's some other big fires that are just amazing. The Roe Creek Complex Fire. Now, this takes in several counties on the east side. Wheeler, Wasco, and Jefferson County are all affected by the complex of the Roe Fire, which are several fires burning out there at a total of 148,000 acres and growing. About 21% contained. The Box Fire, which impacts Crook and Jefferson County, again on the east side, 12,000 acres plus, no containment there. And then there's another group of fires up around Sherman County, Wasco, and Gilliam, and they call it the Hay Complex Fire, which also takes in the Hogue Fire, so it's kind of interesting. 116,000 acres on that one. They're saying it's about 67% contained. And then way out on the east side, Malheur County, right on the Idaho border, there's what they call the Cow Camp Fire. That's 3,400 acres, 5% contained. Those are just some of the highlights. There's a lot of little fires all over the place. Here at this morning, outside our door, we only have one bomber on the field. They kind of come and go because this is a tanker base, and so they'll come in here and get filled with the retardant in flight of these other fires. Like the DC-10 was doing that yesterday quite often. And then down, just to give you an idea, down in Northern California, this is around the Lassen County area down there. They have one call fire. They call it the Biscar Fire. 69,000 acres down there burning and only 5% containment. So it's been a very bad season. And like I said earlier, the resources are stretched. People are tired. It's very dangerous and courageous work. Pray for these people. And the only factor now that makes things really bad is the wind. And the last couple of days, yeah, but not as bad as it has been in the past. And I think that's kind of what's giving them a little bit of an upper hand. A lot of these control lines, they're holding the fire, and they try to get around it, obviously, and have it burn in and burn to itself.
At times, the amount of fires, the cost is also extremely expensive in fighting these fires. It's not just, oh, isn't it too bad that we have these? This is tax dollars that's going for all of this. $62 million for 28,000 acres.
Yeah, it's very expensive work. By the way, there's another thing I can't seem to get a handle on, so I lay myself bare on this, but I've been trying for the last couple of days to see if I could get any kind of account of structures that have been lost. And what's interesting to me is that we have been notified that fire departments around the state have been sending some of their units to these fires for the sole reason of protecting structures. At this fire here, I think we even got some from California. So what will happen is you take a local fire department, they'll send one of their trucks up there.
Right.
And you think about it, a fire truck in a neighborhood, what's it designed to do? Save a house. And so they will send that vehicle and that crew up, and then they rotate them through. But I haven't heard of any numbers of structures being lost in this East Evans Creek fire. Now, I stand to be corrected, but I've snooped around and I couldn't find a number there, so I'll keep you posted. If it is zero, well, praise the Lord for that one. You know. No. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street on this Wednesday morning. Thank you, Preston, with Smart Lawn. He's the smart guy, and you'd be smart by giving him a call. The Dow's up a little bit this morning, 207 points. Okay. The Nasdaq is off a little bit, 54.5 points. And the S&P barely in the green at 3.26 points up. So kind of a mixed bag at the ringing of the bell this morning. A lot on the table to consider. Gold continues to climb back up. It's about up $100 now, $41.53. Silver's back up over $60. That's the good news. And then the other one we don't like up, it jumped up $2. $93.46 a barrel for crude oil. There you go.
Interesting. Well, you know, what is that saying, Perry? Through the mouths of babes comes wisdom. Is that right? Does that sound right? That doesn't quite sound right.
Probably.
Sometimes you find wisdom, though, in the mouths of babes.
Yeah.
What you do, you can't make everything go the way you want it to. So stop trying. Just enjoy the ride. So stop trying. Just enjoy the ride. Make people laugh. Make people smile. Be the light in the darkness. Be a lighthouse. And let everybody know, hey, it's okay. It's okay to take a second and breathe, because so much of us have forgot how to even do that. Not everything is the end of the world. Nothing is the end of the world. And everything is evidence that the only thing that we are here to do is to love, is to smile, is to enjoy the beauty of being alive. So remember that. Thank you.
Well, look, to your point, I don't know where he is spiritually, but I will say the simplicity of that is a subtle reminder of, hey, look, come on, folks, back down a little bit, you know, cool your jets, let's get along. Buy somebody a mango Suzy or swishy or
yes,
you know,
a mango smoothie. Sure, why not?
Yeah, because they're expensive and Steve can't afford one, so buy them.
They are, and I can't. You're right.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests, or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon. Pastor Jack Hibbs, championing religious liberty, a deep love of God, freedom, and America. You may have seen him in the news during COVID as he pushed back against government-mandated church closures. Now you can see him on the Dove TV every weekend on Real Life with Jack Hibbs. Learn, grow in your faith, and impact the world with authentic biblical teaching. Watch Real Life with Jack Hibbs Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. 26 minutes before the hour. Steve, you know, I mentioned I couldn't find some data, and all of a sudden, here it comes.
You got a lot of data, huh?
I got a lot of data. So thank you for those who are listening and paying. I don't, you know, anyway. From what I've been told so far, since the 19th, as of the 19th, here in the East Evans Creek fire, apparently 1 vacant home was lost and 5 outbuildings. If you go over to what you're discovering from the Oregon Public Broadcasting, boy, this is a big difference in the acreage, because we were reporting 250,000. This is reporting 420,000 acres have burned so far this year. So that it could be that 200,000 are burning now. We've had other fires already. So
that's a good point.
That's a good point. So let's see, 5 homes have been lost. Now that would be statewide.
That would be statewide, yeah.
So what's happening here is they've made an amazing effort to have structure crews that are trained to go in and protect people's homes, and so that's good news. All right, let's check in with CBN News. And of course, last night, America continues to launch strikes inside Iran. So let's check in with CBN News and get the latest.
U.S. forces struck Iran for the 11th consecutive night as Washington continues its campaign against Tehran. U.S. Central Command says American aircraft struck Iranian military sites, degrading Iran's ability to threaten shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian media reported explosions in Bushehr, home to Iran's nuclear power plant. While increasing pressure on Iran, President Trump met with Lebanese President Joseph Aoun at the White House. The meeting followed rare direct talks between Lebanon and Israel after months of fighting with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah terrorist group. Trump said Washington is committed to helping Lebanon.
And we're going to help it. We're going to help it a lot. As you know, there's a Hezbollah problem.
Trump also addressed Iran, saying Tehran wants negotiations because they are, in his words, getting decimated. But for now, the attacks will continue.
Until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in even...
Trump said the United States will soon target the area near Pickaxe Mountain, a fortified underground site near one of Iran's primary nuclear enrichment facilities. The Wall Street Journal reports Israeli intelligence believes Iran has moved thousands of centrifuges used to enrich uranium into tunnels there.
We'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily. We follow the material. That's where the action is.
The president also warned Iran's Houthi allies against disrupting shipping in the Red Sea, saying the United States will take care of business if the group attempts a blockade. At least 2 vessels carrying Saudi oil reportedly turned around on the Red Sea Tuesday after the Houthis made their threat. The U.S. military identified 2 more soldiers who died over the weekend. Sergeant Michael Emmanuel Swinton, a 30-year-old father from Fayetteville, North Carolina, was killed in Iraq July 19th. Officials also confirmed Sergeant Angel S. Rampersad, 28, of Ozone Park, New York, who was killed in an Iranian attack on a U.S. base in Jordan. President Trump is scheduled to attend the dignified transfer of the fallen service members at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware today.
I'll be going to Dover for something that I feel it's a great honor for me to do it.
At the same time, the administration has approved a civilian nuclear cooperation deal with Saudi Arabia worth tens of billions of dollars. The agreement would give American companies a key role in Saudi Arabia's nuclear development and could allow uranium enrichment on Saudi soil. The deal does not include Saudi normalization with Israel, drawing concerns it could accelerate a regional nuclear race. Inside Iran, authorities are escalating pressure on Christians. The regime seized Tehran's historical St. Peter Evangelical Church, the country's last remaining Presbyterian church. It sealed the church doors and banned all church gatherings, declaring the property, residence, and 2 schools state-owned. Several Christian families living on the grounds fled after threats from security forces.
And Paul Petit is joining us now from Israel. So, Paul, President Trump says the U.S. will soon target the nuclear site in the area near Pickaxe Mountain. Why is that place so important?
Well, yeah, from Pickaxe Mountain may be the most important nuclear site left in Iran that hasn't been directly targeted. It's built very deep in the mountain, believed to house massive tunnel. Yeah, it's important to point out here from that the current objective is different from the initial phase of the war. Right now, the U.S. is laser focused on degrading Iran's ability to threaten shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The target list tells the story here. American forces are hitting drone storage facilities, aircraft hangars, military operations centers, maritime capabilities, as mentioned in the story, infrastructure as well. Another important goal is imposing costs on the regime. The message from the White House has been that every attack on commercial shipping will result in Iran losing more of its military capabilities. And finally here, there appears to be a longer-term strategy developing. The U.S. is trying to prevent Iran from being able to rebuild both its nuclear program and its ability to hold the global economy hostage through the Strait of Hormuz. Back to you.
What do we know about what's happening with Christians there in Iran?
Yeah, this story here is getting very little attention because of the war. By shuttering the country's last official sanctioned Persian language Presbyterian church, Iran has effectively ended a historic Christian presence that dates back more than a century, if you could believe. Now, as you heard in the story, the government has also been accused of confiscating church property, evicting Christian worshipers as well. Now, the United Nations is calling on Iran to reverse those actions. The important distinction here is that historic ethnic Christian communities are tolerated to a degree under Iranian law. It's the Christian converts from Islam who face the harshest persecution here.
Yeah, we forget that part of the argument.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. 19 before the hour. Let's check out the weather as we head down our Wednesday.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, Vancouver and Portland turn sunny with patchy smoke and highs near 100. Wilsonville climbs to 103, while McMinnville also pushes close to 100. Through the Willamette Valley, it's a very warm day. Salem and Albany top out around 100. Corvallis reaches 98 under mostly sunny skies, and Eugene comes in near 99. Central Oregon has patchy smoke, then a few afternoon rumbles possible. Prineville reaches 98, then tops out near 93, and Sun River clunts to 91 with showers possible before storms develop. Boise stays warm and dry near 96. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay starts with areas of fog, then carries a slight storm chance with a high near 75. Port Orford begins foggy before turning mostly sunny near 71. Brookings stays foggy and cool near 57, while Crescent City is partly sunny near 67. In southern Oregon, Grants Pass reaches 101 with mostly sunny skies and a small storm possibility later. Medford climbs to 103. Ashland reaches 98 with sunshine before a few showers may pop up. And Klamath Falls hits 93 with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Across northern California, Wairika reaches 98 with sunshine and an isolated storm possible later. Redding and Chico hover around 100 while Fort Bragg stays mostly sunny near 64. Around the Bay Area, Santa Rosa turns sunny near 80, Napa reaches 81, San Francisco sees decreasing clouds and 76, and San Jose is sunny near 87. Across central California, Sacramento and Stockton and Modesto stay sunny near 93, Fresno Visalia reach around 100, and Bakersfield tops out near 101. That's a snapshot of today's weather from Grange Co-op.
Hey, it is time to go back into our historic archives with a thought from Jerry on this particular day. A song we have all sung was written.
Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain.
As Ray Charles reminds us, those words were first inspired on this day in 1893 when teacher and poet Catherine Lee Bates stood atop Pikes Peak in Colorado. Looking out across the vast American landscape, she was moved to write a poem celebrating not just the country's breathtaking beauty, but also its highest ideals of grace, liberty, and brotherhood. Published 2 years later, America the Beautiful would become one of our nation's most beloved patriotic songs. More than 130 years later, its timeless message continues to remind us that America's greatest strength isn't just found in its mountains and amber waves of grain, but in its people.
What's interesting about that song, if you ever go to Pikes Peak, you'll see it on a plaque up there, but which is beautiful. But isn't it kind of interesting how Ray Charles' version of that kind of made the song?
I would agree. Yeah.
Of our boys, as they used to go to sleep when they were growing up. That was church for me. Maybe saying grace at meal times, simple things. But then you do come to buildings like this and you realize actually that community is so powerful. When it's rooted in connection with the Almighty and great friends, it's a real force for good. Our world needs that. I think that beautiful hymn, Abide With Me, always resonates strongly because it says, abide with me, fast falls the eventide. And that is life. As you know, as a dad, I'm a dad, our kids grow up so fast, life moves so fast. That eventide is falling fast, and it's like know where your foundations are in life. Have your eye on the end prize. Life is a long game. I want to make sure I'm heading somewhere good, and that starts on our knees before the Almighty.
There's a
great,
interesting turn of events as we... those of us who track music and think, I'm not a music hound, you're much better at it than I am. But I was talking to our friends in New Zealand, and they've been testing a format over there, and it's working very, very well. And it's more than praise, I would say a praise format. It's actually using a lot of the old hymns format. And it has really taken off very, very well. So you kind of wonder, is this part of the turning? Is this part of the, all right, we've been hyped to death. Let's go back to the traditional things that are solid? I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, good stuff all the way around. All right, we'll take a quick break and see if you want some mangles on your pancakes.
Oh, sounds good.
Jerry's Historical Archives. Moments to remember. Go back in time.
Okay, welcome back. And, we're in the midst of midterms. That's always interesting. You know, you had your primary yesterday. You know what the turnout was? You know, did you have a good turnout?
You know, I don't know what that number is. I don't know if they've published it yet. I mean, that was just not that long ago.
Well, this kind of gives you a little bit of reflection. Let's go back. Rush Limbaugh, the late Rush Limbaugh, was talking about the midterms and talking about the Democrats just prior to an election and how they look at things. And here's Rush's take on it.
But if you really stop to think about it, mob behavior, bullying, the appearance of insane rage and anger is all they have left. They don't have any issues or policies to run on for the same old reason. They can't be honest. Oh, they've got plenty of policies. Oh, they got plenty of issues. Oh, they have plenty of ideas. They just don't dare tell anybody what they are. Not at the run-up to election time.
A little bit of a...
Could be run before each election. That's for sure.
Well, there's, and looking back at your own election last night, I mean, the big socialist lost. What did that tell you?
He did, yeah.
Because, you know, you kind of go, all right, it seems to be a real trend and move here, but that was a loss in Arizona. That would have been...
And that was among only Democrat voters.
Yes, so that was the primary side of things.
Yeah.
All right, Leighton Gray will be with us. He's an attorney. I like you know what he calls his podcast?
I do not know.
gray matter.
Oh, I like that.
He's an attorney, and he calls it gray matter. So we'll be talking about his latest book, Trials, Tribulations, and Truth. And then we'll have back with us today Colonel Rob Maness. He's a retired U.S. Air Force colonel. He wrote a book called What You Can Do About It, and we'll talk about election integrity. So that seems to be on the minds of a lot of people these days. So let's see what happens. It's will the SAFE Act get through? We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, have to wait and find out for that, for sure. Well, you know, rescue stories are always interesting, and we've got one that's nothing short of amazing.
A 14-year-old Montana boy proved that practice really can save lives. When a man was swept away by the fast-moving Yellowstone River after a rafting accident, Jory Thomas grabbed the one tool he knew best, his lariat. Having spent months practicing his roping skills for cattle, Jory raced along the riverbank and with one perfect throw, lassoed the struggling man on his very first attempt. He then pulled him safely to shore where first responders took over. When Jory got home and told what had happened, he said, "I think I just saved a life." And his grandmother's response was, "Yeah, you did." Jory later said he believed God placed him there for that moment. It's an incredible reminder that the skills we work so hard to learn today may one day make all the difference in someone else's life.
That is amazing.
Well, I have to tell you, my earlier days riding horses and all that stuff, that I never could master that one because a true lariat is stiff.
Yeah.
And these guys that can, and there's different types of them, but can you imagine, here he was on the shore swinging that thing and saving a guy. Can you imagine doing that at a horse in full gallop?
That's right. Wow.
And they throw it out there. I was always told that once you get it going and when you get ready to throw it like you're throwing a baseball. Aim.
Oh, okay.
And throw it. So I don't know.
I'll keep that in mind when next time I have a lariat.
And that will be when?
I don't know. You never know. That's the whole thing. You never know.
I don't know, Steve. You're close to the OK Corral. Go out there.
I am.
And swing it around.
Bring my lariat. Yeah.
All right. You know, today is hammock day.
It is.
And having your mango smoothie.
Oh, a smoothie in one hand, lariat in the other, and you're trying to get up on a hammock. Good luck on that.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you, Steve. All
yes,
right.
I will.
All right, stick around. I got some great conversation. Hey, I was just curious. You mentioned that coffee a few moments ago. I was just curious.
Yes.
Do you have an espresso machine maker thing at the house?
Well, the question is, how many do I have? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember when we went over and we bought those two that were being sold from that company that was going.
We did. It was great while it lasted. Couldn't get parts for it, though. That's one thing I found out.
Yeah.
You buy an Italian espresso machine, you may not get the parts for it.
There you go. Matthew 18, verse 20. Take it with you today. For where two or three gather together in my name, I am there in the midst of them. What a promise. Gather somebody and have a prayer meeting today.
Oh, yeah.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at theDove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative. In a time when our culture faces unprecedented challenges,
I want to talk about the role of a Christian even in a hostile culture.
Christian apologist and evangelist Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
People are hungry for truth, and we've got to rise to the challenge of our assignment as the church.
Know your faith better to be equipped to defend it in a world searching for answers.
But when you put the face of an earthly man on God, then you're never going to understand who God is.
God takes pleasure in you, and the very sight of you is joy and blessing.
Alex McFarland, inspiring believers through apologetics to boldly stand for truth in a critical time. Catch him Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. More at theDove.us. The world has a view, but God has the vision. With Alveda King and Women of Faith, Tuesday at 8:30 on the Dove TV.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. Always a delight and glad we have him. Perfect timing. Leighton Gray's back with us today. He is a distinguished constitutional lawyer, the host of the Gray Matter podcast, and the author of his new book titled Trials, Tribulations, and Truth. He's also the CEO of Alberta's Prosperity Project. He's a proud Canadian, conservative, and a tireless advocate for the restoration of civil liberties guaranteed to all of us by God and the rule of law. And you can go to the graymatterpodcast.com is the website. thegraymatterpodcast.com. And there's a picture of that landing page. Leighton, good to see you, buddy. How are you, man?
Thanks, Perry. I'm delighted to be back on the show with you.
Thank you. Thank you. I value your time. Well, congratulations on the book. Where are you going with this one?
Well, as I think I said the last time I was on the show, and I get this a lot, people ask, what's Gray Matter all about? What are your books about? And really what it's about, Perry, is trying to show people who are very fearful, anxious, in some cases suffering under mental illness and psychosis, and spiritual despair, trying to show them that all these things that are happening are really part of an ongoing spiritual battle between good and evil for our souls. And so what we try and do is to look at things that are happening in the economic, political, and social realm and help people to see them through the spiritual lens of Christianity. Because, of course, when you see those things through that lens of Christianity, then there is no more fear. Then you understand that God's love is much greater than the fear that is used by the enemy as really the weapon of destruction. It's what's setting us against each other, setting us against ourselves, and alienating us from our Heavenly Father.
Well said. Beautifully said. Do you think, Leighton, part of this is that we have forgotten the lessons of the past, or we were never taught the lessons of the past?
I think it's a combination of both. I think for people of my generation, I'm a Generation Xer, and perhaps the Boomer generation. I think it's a case of forgetting. All the things that we enjoy today, Perry, are the fruits of Christendom. The Lord says, it says in the Bible in 2 Corinthians, it says, for the Lord is the Spirit, and wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom. And that's true, but it's also true that wherever the Lord isn't, there is no freedom. And so we're really experiencing this in real time throughout the world. And it's because we're losing our connection to the divine, to the transcendent. We're not seeing ourselves as being made in the image of God. And we're not behaving as though we have a responsibility and a duty to obey God's laws. And of course, the other part of it is we're not transmitting the truth of the gospel or of the Bible to younger generations. And so really, the enemy is attacking on both sides of the equation that you set out, as far as I could see.
Do you think that we've also don't understand the conflict on our own souls because as humans, we sense something is wrong, we don't know what it is. And I realize as Christians, we have an insight as to what that is, but to a non-Christian, that sets off a war, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. And the battleground for that war, I believe, Perry, is truth. And, I always come back to this famous conversation between our Lord and Pilate, where, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He says, I am the truth. I embody the truth. And Pilate says, well, what is truth? And this is kind of the conversation across time between man and God. Men like Pilate think that because they have power, that they have the ability to manipulate truth. They think they control truth. But of course, as Christians, we know that's a lie. That's an enemy psyop that's being employed in order to activate our pride and make us think that we can be as gods. But, Jesus Christ is the truth, the objective truth that runs through all things, whether it's, the spiritual realm, whether it's literature, art, science, all of it. When you drill right down, Jesus Christ is that unifying objective truth. And when we were Christendom, and I think we're sort of living off the fumes, the remnants of that right now in the West. But when we were Christendom, we understood that much better. Therefore, we could build things like beautiful cathedrals over many generations. We could create great works of art, works of literature that could withstand generations. A constitution in the United States founded on biblical principles that could last 250 years. Those are the fruits of Christendom. And I think the job of those of us who are Christians, who have a voice in the public sphere, is to perpetuate that message, to bring that forward into the future, because I think that's part of, our role in the Great Commission.
Wokeism has now been exposed, that we see that, they're trying to say, a man can become a woman.
Yeah.
It's saying that we don't have pregnant women anymore. We have pregnant people. I mean, you can go down the road. I mean, it's just endless, okay?
Yeah.
But part of that attack now is showing up on the defending of the rule of law.
Yes.
What's so interesting to me, Leighton, is it looks like it's easy to break the law and there's no consequences. So therefore, we're in a mess.
Yes, this is a really important point that has huge societal implications. And people should know that the rule of law is actually a biblical principle. It comes right out of the Old Testament, and it's renovated in the New Testament when the Lord gives us the second commandment to love our neighbor. And the rule of law has been vital to organize societies in ways so that they can solve problems in peaceful ways. That when the rule of law at its best, and it's at the core of all of the truthful truth searching, biblical truth searching reveals the truth, and therefore we arrive at a good result in God's law. The other one that's maybe even more well known is, of course, when our Lord is faced with a woman who's cast into the street. She's caught in the act of adultery, and she's about to be stoned to death by this crowd. And Jesus turns to the crowd and he says, "Let ye among you who has not sinned cast the first stone." These are fundamental applications of the rule of law that our courts nowadays don't seem to understand. They become politicized and, as you say, wokeified. And when I say wokeified, what I mean is they're not focused on discovering the truth of the matter, the way Solomon and Christ were in those situations. What they're instead interested in is something called social justice. And what social justice is really a subversion of true justice, biblical justice. And it always produces harm, deep, deep social harm, because we know that it's based on lies. And, lies are a very insidious thing. We hear about white lies or the harmless lie, but that in itself is a lie. We have to be very, very focused on the truth. And that, as I said, the truth is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He personifies it. And, there's a great book by Rod Dreher, who you may have had on your program, called Live Not by Lies. And what he does, he examines how societies that are based on lies, for example, the USSR is one of the examples he uses, or Nazi Germany, how far that goes down in terms of dehumanizing human beings, setting us against each other, leading to awful things like starvation and even genocide.
Wow. Let me ask you.
That is astonishing. And Charlie Kirk, sadly, his life is over, struck down at 31 years old, and his killer is going to live well into his 50s or even his 60s as a prisoner of the state. If that isn't an ultimate example of this problem of justice delayed is justice denied, I don't know what is. But there's no question that if we can call it, the left, the people who want to subvert real justice and replace it with social justice, this is part of the mechanism through which they do it. And what it causes, and this is the most dangerous thing, to use your word, Perry, is it causes us to lose our trust in these institutions like the justice system, like the judiciary. And when we lose our trust in those institutions, something really awful happens in the fabric of a society. Because in places like Canada and the United States and Great Britain, we're trust-based societies. And that trust doesn't exist in other societies. We take it for granted. For example, that you go to a lawyer, and a lawyer is not going to, go down to the coffee shop after you tell them about your divorce and tell everybody all about it. Or if you go to your doctor, that your doctor is going to keep your medical information confidential. These are examples of what it is to live in a trust-based society. And when we lose our trust in these institutions, it whittles away at the fabric of society. And, God wants us to live in community. He wants us to live in those trust-based communities, and he wants those communities to be governed according to his law.
Gosh, that's so well said, Leighton. Thank you. One other problem I see brewing, and to me it's serious, but it doesn't seem to make any news. But we have seen lately violation of Supreme Court.
Interesting to go in, for example, when the court gives a decision and read the dissenting opinions. And some of the ones that are coming out by people like, Justice Sotomayor or Ketanji Jackson are really, really strange and almost not truly legal opinions. You can see the level of politicization in the court when you read those decisions. They really lack sense. And so, unfortunately, this separation of powers, especially in the United States Constitution, is so vital to its proper operation, because those wise founders, they set up the executive branch, legislative branch, and the judiciary to be a check on each other's power, so that not too much power was concentrated in any part. And what seems to happen now is that at various times, certain parts of that triumvirate sort of become dominant. And then they get into conflict with the other two who are trying to take back that power. And so when you see that conversation right now, for example, between the Trump administration and the Supreme Court, or the Democrats who are at odds with the Supreme Court because they don't like a decision like Dobbs, and people start showing up at the homes of Supreme Court justices and threatening their families. So this is something that must be sacredly observed and protected, the separation of powers. But again, it comes back to what I said earlier about losing faith in these institutions. If we lose faith in those institutions, if we lose trust in the truthfulness of them, that starts to whittle away at the level of respect and deference that we have for them. And if we don't protect those institutions, we're going to have a very difficult time maintaining a free and democratic society.
Gosh, that's so well said. Thank you, Leighton. Let me take a quick break. Let me show our viewers and listeners check out his website, thegraymatterpodcast.com. That's also his podcast and his latest book, which is now out, Trials, Tribulations, and Truth. Where can they get that, Leighton?
It's on the seas of Amazon, both books. Okay. And thank you for mentioning them, Perry.
Oh, beautiful. These are manuals. You're going to end up writing in the margins. Again, it's called Trials, Tribulations, and Truth. We'll be right back.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
The Life Essentials Interactive Study Bible by Dr. Gene Getz. The first ever multimedia study Bible with QR codes enabling you to view 1,500 videos. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, or computer with Gene Getz teaching Principles to Live By from every book of Scripture. 250 hours of in-depth teaching. Gene Getz has over 60 years of Bible teaching and is a renowned theologian. The Life Essentials Bible is a seminary in a box. Read, watch, apply. Get yours today for your own spiritual growth or as a gift that will minister greatly to your family and friends. Purchase your copy of the Life Essentials Study Bible at Christian bookstores or go to their website, BiblePrinciples.org. and click on Video Search, where you can access all the principles for free. Take your faith deeper. Get your Life Essentials. Study Bible today at Christian bookstores or BiblePrinciples.org.
Pastor Jack Hibbs, championing religious liberty, a deep love of God, freedom, and America. You may have seen him in the news during COVID as he pushed back against government-mandated church closures. Now you can see him on theDove TV every weekend on Real Life with Jack Hibbs. Learn, grow in your faith, and impact the world with authentic biblical teaching. Watch Real Life with Jack Hibbs Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on theDove TV.
Okay, welcome back. Honored to have back with us today, live from Canada this morning. Leighton Gray, he's a distinguished constitutional attorney. He's the author of a new book, and you got to get it, Trials, Tribulations, and Truth. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen. You can certainly get that online. Check out his podcasts and his website, thegraymatterpodcast.com. And there's a picture of that landing page. I want to come to the book, Leighton, but one more quick question about the Supreme Court, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. I see something happening here that's kind of got my head scratching a little bit. It could be good. It could not be good. And that is the Supreme Court recently on some big decisions where they're able, they will shift it back to the states. We saw that with Dobbs. So their escape clause is, we're not going to deal with it. We're going to send it back to the states. And I understand the 10th Amendment deals with the powers of the state. But when Roe versus Wade or Dobbs went back to the states, it now became politicized again.
Yes.
And what happened was we now have this unbelievable, uncontrollable thing called the pill. Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm asking here is the escape clause for the Supreme Court sending everything back to the state? Because here we have 50 of them. You got providences. The UK is a state and a state. We got 50 problems.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what's your take?
Well, there's no question you're right. And one of the things, I'm going to put this broadly under an umbrella called judicial activism.
Okay.
And we're going through a period right now of judicial activism. And judicial activism is a creature of the left. It finds its real genesis in the 1950s and 60s in places like Harvard and Yale Law School, people like John Rawls and H.L.A. Hart. And they came up with this idea, Perry, that the law is not something separate from the court, that the court interprets. I mean, the idea of the founders was that the law is something to be interpreted by judges and applied in accordance with the Constitution. But the idea of judicial activism, or judicial realism, if you like, is that the law is not really a law until the court interprets it. And what this really means is it takes the lawmaking power away from the elected representatives of the people, and it puts it in the hands of these elitist judges. And a lot of times these people, God bless them. I mean, I'm a lawyer, but I can tell you, when you come out of law school, the vast majority of people coming out of law schools and in the legal profession are liberal, and they have adopted this secular worldview, and it unfortunately it dominates their thinking, and so we get a lot of decisions sometimes that seem very strange, that don't accord with reason. And part of judicial activism is not only making strange decisions that don't seem to accord with reality, but also refusing to take on important questions and decide them in a way that accords with reality. Instead of taking that decision and really doing your constitutional duty, you pass that off onto somebody else. And this is part of judicial activism. But many judges don't see themselves in that role. Oftentimes they see themselves as sort of extensions of the executive state, if you will. And that's a really serious problem throughout the Western world.
Well, you described it so perfectly there. We could go down that road for a whole another couple of hours. I'm going to come back to your book just for a moment, Leighton, and congratulations. Again, it's called Trials, Tribulations, and Truth, and you can go online and get it. But in your book, you talk about freedom of speech, censorship, as some of the major things, along with the assault on identity and traditional family values and biological reality. I mean, right. That's the core of yes. our culture right now. What are you trying to communicate to us here?
Well, I'll refer to an example of one of the essays in the book is called Poisonous Roots. And here I tried to take a look at and pinpoint what is the origin of transgender ideology. Why is it so seductive, and why is it so harmful to human beings? And what I found when I looked into it is it goes down to people like John Money and the Kinsey Institute, who really gave birth to all of these terms like gender identity and transgenderism, cisgender. All these terms come out of the quote-unquote sexual revolution of the 1960s. And what I found is that there's an essential connection between transgenderism, pedophilia, and also something called autogynephilia, which is where you get eroticized by pretending or by the fantasy that you are a member of the opposite sex. And what we see fundamentally is that transgenderism is an ideology of alienation. It's really one of the greatest ideas that Satan ever, horrible drugs that are going to transform my body forever. I'm going to fix me by going to a surgeon who's going to lop off body parts that are going to make me into something unimaginable in your eyes. That are going to distort my true identity that you gave to me. And what we see is this always descends down into misery. 86% of people who identify as transgender, Perry, have suicidal ideation, and at least nearly half of them actually make a serious attempt at suicide. So if that isn't proof of how destructive that ideology is, I don't know. And then, of course, you get into all the ramifications of trying to compel the speech of others so that I have to refer to someone else by their chosen pronouns. Now they're compelling my speech. They're forcing me through the legal force of the state to adopt their delusion and make it my own, even though I know that it's a lie.
Yeah.
It's truly, truly awful and so dangerous and so divisive for our society.
Gosh, that's so well explained. Again, let me say to our viewers and listeners, go online and get this book. It's not a big book. It's a manual, really. It's a textbook for you. Trials, Tribulations, and Truth. There's a picture of the book cover there on the page, on the screen. You know, Leighton, there might have been a slight little victory in this. When the recent case came before the U.S. Supreme Court about boys being in girls' sports.
Yes.
If you were listening to the oral arguments of that, it started off trans.
Mm-hmm.
And about halfway through all the arguments, that term got set aside. And they dealt with the reality of boys playing in girls' sports. The term trans got dropped. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see that happen because one of the arguments before the Congress yesterday in one of these hearings that they did is pregnant people versus a pregnant woman. I think maybe they're overplaying their hand here, and what they're trying to do with words isn't working.
Well, the subversion of words, goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden, doesn't it? When the serpent says, "Did God really say?" Yeah, he did. And, but yeah, the subversion of words is definitely one of the main methods of attack. And I think, as you pointed out, what they do is they take a word that we all seem to understand, like, for example, woman, an adult female human being. They hollow it out, and then they inject some horrible pestilence inside that destroys the whole concept, the whole beauty of being a woman. And of course, they do this to words like justice. They do it to love. They do it to Christianity. They do all of it. And what we have to be very watchful of, and I actually write about this in my books, is how is language being used? And we have to be very careful and watchful as Christians. Are these words being used correctly? Are they being used in a way that's consistent with what we know of Scripture? Because, of course, many of these words that they attack so often are words that are mentioned in Scripture. And we do know that the specific definitions for them because God gave them to us.
Yeah.
And I think one of the solutions to wokeism, frankly, and this sounds overly simplistic, but is to just read your Bible because that's the truth. And the truth is there. Yeah. If you want to live not by lies, I think the best prescription for that is to read your Bible.
Leighton, you're an inspiration. Thank you, friend, for your time. We value it greatly. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, go to thegraymatterpodcast.com. That's his website. Also, check out the podcast and pick up the book. This is it. I think he's done the homework for you. If you need it simply clarified, here's a book that does that. Trials, Tribulations, and Truth. You can get that online by Leighton Gray. God bless you, my friend. Good to see you. Let's stay connected.
Thanks, Barry. Really appreciate the time.
Okay.
In today's world, we've become too used to hearing bad news. Why not help share a little good news instead? With custom-designed messages in both English and Spanish, manufactured right here in the USA. Wearing apparel from Good News Products is a small but mighty way to help lift the spirits of friends, family, coworkers, and more. Visit goodnewsproductsusa.com today. Use the QR code and take 15% off your first order. Good News Products, because everybody loves good news.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Sing along.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
Welcome back, and we welcome back Rob Maness. He's a retired U.S. Air Force colonel, decorated combat veteran, author, and political commentator. During his military career, he received numerous honors, including 2 Legions of Merit and, of course, the Bronze Star for combat leadership. He later ran for the U.S. Senate there in Louisiana and now hosts the Rob Maness Show. And while leading grassroots and political initiatives through Iron Liberty Group and Gator PAC, he's also the author of a fascinating book called What Can You Do About It? And there's a picture of the cover of that book on the screen. What Can You Do About It? Colonel, good to see you again, friend. How are you?
Hey, Perry. Thanks for having me on. It's good to see you.
Thanks for your time. You know, the president gave a primetime speech, and it had to do with overall election integrity. I think it was also some pressure on 5 Republicans in the Senate to pass the SAVE Act. Colonel, what's your view of this subject?
Well, I think the president was right on target to get this data out into the public. It was classified, really overly classified, and kept classified for the wrong reasons. And the reason is what's most striking about this, and that is to keep from the American people that the Chinese Communist Party was the biggest bad actor in previous elections, like the 2020 election, in trying to influence our elections, as opposed to the public story, which was about Russians and those kinds of things. And we know the Russians spent like $100,000 on social media ads, and that was about it. But the Chinese, they hacked into our election data. They have 220 million voter records, and I'm sure that they used it.
All right, this opens up the door for a lot of questions. How did they do this? How did China do this?
What, how did they get the voter records?
Yeah.
Well, probably through various means. You know, in the political world, political action committees, campaign committees, political parties, we can get access to voter data, usually have to pay for it in some way or another. So the Chinese could have done it that way. They probably used various methodologies in order to cover their tracks, going through shell companies that look like American companies and those kind of things. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is if they have almost all or near or all of our voter information files, and they can marry it up to previous targeting of individuals in this country and put that information together, you can do all kinds of things with that. And that's what groups like I've been part of that have been opposed to having TikTok being live in our country, because the Chinese use it as a collection system on individuals' data. So when you combine that much information and get down to that level of precision, you can do a lot of things with it. We saw tens of thousands of fake driver's licenses being mailed from China into the United States, Perry. And that's one of the things that you can do with that type of information is create driver's licenses. And it's not a very big leap from driver's licenses to be able to falsify ballots in the mail-in ballot systems, especially in some of these states where they have universal mail-in ballots and they do no voter identification checks.
Yeah. Okay. So we've known this. We covered it up. Did we cover it up?
Yes, we covered it up. Not just covered it up, but as you look at the documents that have been released, and that's one of the things that I just want to comment about the president's speech. He didn't make it about the 2020 election. He made it about declassifying the documents, and he told people in his speech, we're making the documents we're declassifying available at whitehouse.gov. I want you to go look at them. Don't believe him, he said. He said, go look at the documents. And some of the things that we've seen in those documents is striking. One is a senior FBI leader saying that she is running a shadow government and driving people to hide information about elections in China from the President of the United States in the Presidential Daily Brief. Come on, Perry. The Presidential Daily Brief is the most important piece of information that the president gets every single day because it tells him about the current threats to the nation and to the American people and what is actively happening with those threats. To hide that information from the President of the United States that not only does a disservice to the president, but actually is an attack on the American people because the president was elected by the American people to serve us, to secure our liberty, to make sure we're safe in our homes, to make sure that our country is treated fairly around the world, all kinds of things and reasons why we elected him. So really, it's an affront to the American people by those that are not elected in the United States government, which are supposed to be, remember the term public servants? Mm-hmm. I don't think most of the folks that serve in the federal government really think that way anymore.
Is that a treasonous act?
Treason? We'd have to look at the Constitution from that perspective. Is it sedition? Absolutely. Okay. Is it a seditious conspiracy? Absolutely. Okay. It's a seditious conspiracy because this individual that I was just talking about is in the FBI, and they're working with individuals from the National Security Agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Department of Homeland Security, and they're discussing keeping information from the President of the United States that is critical to the security of our and integrity of our elections. And as you know, if folks have no confidence in our elections, we really don't have a republic, do we?
No. Couple more questions here, Colonel. Given this exposure, what security do we have from further foreign interference, even going into this midterm?
Well, and that's the problem, and the reason why this act called the Save America Act, which is languishing in the United States Senate, is supported by even 71% of Democrats support the Save America Act because it requires a simple thing, that you have to show ID that proves you're a citizen of the United States before you can vote. Without that, we're at risk. Without going back to paper ballots and hand counting, we're at risk. The vulnerabilities in the digital machines that are used by many states around this country have been talked about ad nauseum for years. And if you go look in these documents, those documents that have just been declassified continue to further lay out exactly what is going on with those machines and connects them to places like Venezuela, where Smartmatic machines were originally started, and how the Venezuelans used them to change votes and increase votes for one particular candidate. And the suspicion is, and the documented suspicion of our intelligence agency is, they probably use the same type of techniques in American elections because we have the same machines from companies like Smartmatic or Dominion and those kind of things. Okay,
so we're heading towards the midterms coming up in November. Most states will have a cutoff date as to when you can register. In the meantime, you got 5 senators, or Republican senators in the Senate, dragging their feet on this. There seems to be a deadline coming here real quick to get the SAVE Act through in order for it to be implemented into this next midterm at the state level. Do you have any idea what, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what's in the mind of these 5?
Well, some of them are personal. John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, those are personal vendettas against the President of the United States. And, you know, it tells you something about these individuals that have taken an oath to support and defend the Constitution, that are supposed to be in the Senate representing their states. They're elected by the people, but they're still supposed to represent their states. And I just mentioned that 71% of Democrats support the Save America Act, and over 84% of Republicans support the Save America Act. So the big question is, what are they doing? That's those 2 individuals. That's exactly what they're doing. The other 3, look, Lisa Murkowski, you've never been able to count on her to be a reliable vote in favor of the American people. As a matter of fact, she was put in office, appointed at first, I believe, and then put in by Alaska, poorly choosing this mechanism called ranked choice voting, which is anti-American and anti-democratic in and of itself and should be abolished in this country. And the others are probably trying to get something out of it, and there's room to maneuver, but you still have the other three. And that's a challenge, and it's a problem, and it's because they don't really have the interests of the American people and the future of the country at heart. They're looking at their own self-interest, and that's unfortunate.
You think there's any purple Democrats that could swing over?
Well, we might get John Fetterman. I think he's probably amenable, but highly unlikely these days, especially with the threat that they're getting from their left, from the communists that are defeating them in their primaries. And you're about to see that happen again over the next few weeks.
Yeah. All right, let me take a quick break here. Check out the Colonel's book. I think you'll find it to be a fascinating read. What can you do about it? There's a picture of the book there, available online. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Wednesday, into one of the most remote places on Earth.
What if you fail? What if you get sick? What if you get eaten?
The island nation of Papua New Guinea.
The first week, it was so romantic, you know?
Go deep inside the jungle.
I couldn't see his skin. It was all completely covered in ants.
And see how these missionaries built the promised land.
I've seen how God has used the land to bear so much fruit.
Wednesday morning at 11 on theDove TV.
Okay, welcome back. What an honor to have back with us today. Retired Colonel Rob Matus is with us. And Colonel, I apologize twice. I've messed up the title of your book. I apologize for that. Let me get this straight. What you can do about it. There it is. And where can they get it?
You can get it at robmatus.com, and there's a bonus chapter page there, so /bonus chapter. You can download the bonus chapter for free. Just sign up, and there's a banner ad on there you can click, and it takes you to Amazon. You can get the hardback, paperback, and Kindle versions.
Okay, what you can do about it. I apologize for that. Your thoughts on the loss of Senator Graham?
I think it's a big loss for our country. Look, I will not deny it. I politically disagreed with Lindsey Graham on a lot of things. But I think folks are seeing when you find out that he didn't become a millionaire off of the contracts and those kind of things that he was voting for and the spending he was voting for and those kind of things. He actually was a man of integrity that believed in this country, even though I might have disagreed with him on some issues. He loved the country, and he worked until the moment he died, really, on behalf of the people that put him in office and the American people around this world. And I think other than President Trump, he was probably one of the hardest working men in the government of the United States for many, many years.
We had a report earlier in our news this morning that, and I'm going to do this by memory, $100 million they stopped going to dead people. That reflected 880-something check distributions over the course of time that totaled up to about $2.7 billion going to dead people. We saw DOGE. We saw the corruption of our government with money inside and out. It's been exposed. I guess a couple of questions. Is it really being addressed? Apparently it is, if they're going to stop paying those things. Do you think the American people get it?
I think the American people get it, Perry. The problem is I don't think the American politicians that have the power to change things in a dramatic way, in a very fast way, get it at all. DOGE is effectively gone. Elon was asked to come in. He supported this president. He came in and set up DOGE, and they found all this stuff. And now he's gone. And his team is pretty much suppressed, from what I can tell. We keep finding these fraud efforts and those kind of things, but we never see the actual legislation that stops the money flow and then removes it from the budget. There's two actions that have to happen. You have to stop the money flow, and then it's got to be removed from the budget, or it'll come back to life, because our Congress likes to use these things called continuing resolutions instead of passing the appropriations budgets that they're supposed to pass every year. And that's pitiful. That is pitiful, because the American people see it and we're disappointed. And, there are things going on like that. At the fraud level, the New Jersey governor just had to admit that over 6,600 illegals, non-citizens, had been registered to vote in New Jersey, and 400 of them had actually voted. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of election fraud that we know is out there, and we're told incessantly by our media and our politicians, no, it's not real. It might happen, but it's not enough to change anything. Well, that's baloney. Cheryl herself in New Jersey was elected in a questionable election from my perspective. I worked on the Jack Ciattarelli campaign for several weeks with folks that I know up there. So we've got to get at that fraud. And I'll just tell you one other thing, Perry. There's an act called the Taking Care of America's Veterans Act right now that half of the veterans in the country are fighting against it being passed, even though it will fix President Trump's community care access for veterans and make it a lot easier for disabled veterans to get the medical care that they so desperately need, because VA hospitals are poorly manned and the care is just not that available. But the reason why they're fighting it is because the Republicans, what's called pay-go rules, are being used to take benefits, is what they're saying, take benefits away from other veterans. I don't believe that's true, and I support the Take Care of American Veterans Act. But think about all the billions of dollars you just mentioned, the billions that we know about in the Somali fraud up in Minnesota, the billions in the Medicare and Medicaid fraud that Dr. Oz and his team and Vice President Vance have all identified around this country, billions and billions of dollars. And our veterans have to fight over scraps to make sure that the bills that they need passed, that should have been passed years ago, are able to get passed. It's ridiculous what's going on in this country. And the American people understand it, but the politicians with the power absolutely don't get it. And it's time to remove a lot of them from office and replace them. And that's why I wrote this book, What You Can Do About It. It starts at the local level. Look, this New Jersey issue with voters, that's a local and state issue. And a lot of states, especially blue states, have these what's called motor voter laws to automatically register people to vote. Those should be abolished, but they have to be abolished at the state and local level. And that's where you come in, folks. As Americans, you can stand up and have an individual contribution by starting to organize and get this job done and remove these laws from the books so that we're back to normal. And you have to go show up and register to vote and prove who you are.
Well said. Again, the book, What You Can Do About It. Colonel, what's your 30,000-foot view of what's going on in Iran?
Well, the Iranians they have no honor, as the president has said. Those of us that have been fighting them for 47 years and being attacked by them for 47 years know that. And I appreciate the president trying to end the conflict and save as much infrastructure on behalf of the Iranian people that want to be free and prosperous and not be a danger to their neighbors or to us or our allies. But the Iranians can't keep their word. And I agree with what the president's doing. He's pushed the throttles back up on the war. And eventually we will kill enough of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, who is in control of this situation over there from an Iranian perspective. Eventually, we will degrade them and deplete their personnel enough to where the Iranian people will be able to rise up and take their country back once and for all from this despotic regime.
Both Israel and the United States says that Iran cannot have a nuke. The question I keep asking, can't quite seem to get the answer to, how do we do that?
Well, we have ways to do it that can completely eliminate all of their infrastructure and capabilities to do that, but it requires the ultimate decision in ultimate destruction, and only the United States of America has the ability to do that. I hope we don't have to go that far. The ideal situation would be for the Iranian people to let America come in and take control of the enriched uranium and remove all of the machinery and infrastructure and the material itself so that it's under the control of people that are sane, that are not going to fire a missile into Europe or at American bases down in Diego Garcia, like the Iranians have demonstrated that they will do, or worse yet, fire nuclear-armed missiles at their friends and neighbors in the region, or even worse than that, put it on a ship in a container and try to launch one into the United States of America or into one of our allied countries like Israel. That would be the beginning of a conflict that is very, very difficult to end if we ever allow that to happen. And unfortunately, the Iranian leadership are not rational actors. You know, even the North Koreans are rational actors under the standards of nuclear deterrence and the use of nuclear weapons, but the Iranians are not. And that's why we have a vital interest in not ever letting them have a nuclear weapon.
Do you have a feel for how close the situation may be where the citizens can rise up and take over?
I do not. Unfortunately, that's one of the things that I'm most concerned about throughout this entire Epic Fury operation is I was hoping to see news of the resistance forces that I know are inside the country increase in the arms they're able to get so that they can start conducting operations on their own. And we just haven't seen that develop yet. It may be so dark in the deep in the classified world that the public information just isn't going to come out. But I doubt it, because we would hear something about it. And I haven't heard anything about a resistance operation since just before Epic Fury started. And there was one against the Ayatollah's compound.
One other question that leans on your military experience and acumen, and that is our forces have been over there a long time. Is fatigue a factor?
Well, it depends on what you mean by fatigue. You know, we've had forces there before Epic Fury started, but we've increased our aircraft carrier battle groups. We've put 2 amphibious combat groups in the water over there. And what the problem is those ships have maintenance cycle requirements. And for instance, one of the ships we initially put over there, aircraft carriers, had been operating down in the Caribbean in the Venezuela operation, and it immediately put them on the backside of the curve from a maintenance cycle and redeploying those folks back home. But, you know, Americans are tough, and I think that the American military will be there as long as the commander-in-chief asks them to be there and capable of doing the mission. They prove it every day with what we see going on there with highly successful military operations that continues to degrade the Iranians' capability. And while they may be able to pulling a missile here or there. And unfortunately, kill Americans even like we saw this week. And I'm praying for those families. I understand exactly where they're at, having been a commander who's risked my own life and had 5 people's lives risked too. It's understandable, and we're heartbroken about that. But the Iranians have very little capability left, and it's only a matter of time at this point.
Colonel, thank you. Thank you for your time. We value it greatly. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out the book, What You Can Do About It. There's a picture of the cover of the book. You can go to robmaness.com. That's his website. You can click on there and click over into get the copy of the book, and that's Rob Maness, MANESS.com, and you can check it out there. Colonel, thank you, my friend. Blessings on you. Let's stay connected.
Thank you, Perry. Appreciate it.
The world has a view, but God has the vision. An inspirational talk show blending heartfelt storytelling with practical insight to help you live with clarity, compassion, and vision. Join Alveda King Tuesdays on theDove TV.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On